Howdy y'all, welcome back. Today we are back to play Our Life Beginnings and Always, and we have finished the entire full game that is released on Steam with all the DLCs as well, the paid DLCs. However, there's also bonus content on Patreon that we will be playing today. The full step 3 bonus content, 18 plus bonus content, is finished, but there's also a beta build for step 4, and that's not finished. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing today, and perhaps by the time we might come back to this game, maybe the step 4 bonus content might be finished. I don't know. But yeah, step 4 content takes place during the wedding night, while the step 3 bonus content takes place in between the end of step 3 and the start of step 4. He's still the same age as we are in step 3, which is 18 years old. So yeah, I'm excited to play. I did look at it a little bit just to see like what we'll be getting into. I didn't like read the text because I don't want to like spoil anything, I guess, for me. I just wanted to see what it's like just a little bit. So yeah, we can censor the CGs. I'll try to see, like, yeah, that's what I did. I think I did don't skip the explicit content but censor the CGs, and I didn't get any CGs. I don't know if I had to click. I wasn't reading the choices. I wasn't reading the text, so I want to spoil myself. So maybe I had to pick very specific choices to get the CGs. So I just want to see, like, how do the censored CGs look? You know, because I don't want to have you know, I don't know how it looks. And then I turned on don't censor anything, and I still didn't get the CGs, so I had no idea. Well, I do know what the CGs look like because I saw some pictures of it, but I don't know how the censor ones look. So anyway, we're just gonna see when we get started. So let's start. Welcome to Our Life Beginnings and Always 18 Plus Patreon moment. Before getting to the moment itself, we've got a quick info prologue. Since this isn't connected to the main game at all, you can't load a save file from the build here in this game. That means important details of the MC's identity will have to be added fresh. By default, Cove and you are in love and have been dating for at least a while. This moment is set sometime after the end of step 3 but before step 4. Some choices within this moment allow you to decide what happened in the past. For example, a choice menu will have one option where the MC recalls how something similar occurred before, and also having an option where the MC can note it as a new thing. It can go either way. Choosing the option that was true for the normal Our Life playthrough will make sure this event still fits with the prior story you created. With those basics out of the way, we'll get right into deciding all the necessary information for your character. Some of it will be standard customization, and other parts will be special to the 18 plus moment. Also, let me turn on the desktop audio just so you can hear. So we have to go ahead and recreate our character. So dark brown. I don't quite remember the eye shape I chose. Okay. I guess it would be say that gold. Okay. Those are all the hairstyles. I chose this one, but I just wanted to see if there was any other ones that I hadn't considered or forgot about. Or if they added some new ones. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Pascal. Oops. How do I turn it off? Okay. Pascal Whitlock. He I don't have glasses. I can't remember what I picked for step 3. Okay, I think everything is ready. Now we will customize Cove so we can get the Cove that we had before. So it was this one. He had glasses. I don't remember if he had earrings. Hold on. I'm about to pull up that Cove right quick so I can see exactly what he looked like. If my internet will be quicker. Okay, I want to get a scene of Cove who is in the center so I can see clearly. Okay, I see a bracelet. I think he's wearing it right now. Yeah, he is. Okay. He got the bracelet on. He had the shirt. He had different pants. Yeah, I believe that's how he looked like. Okay. Next page. Oh, I don't remember how his pajamas were. I wonder if I can find it. I wonder if I go to a previous. Okay, here we go. Pajamas. Okay. He. Okay, so I have to have glasses on, even though he didn't have glasses on beforehand. I mean, he doesn't have glasses on when he's wearing his pajamas. How do his pants look? I can't really see his pants. I know he does. He does wear glasses. He just doesn't want to when he's about to go to bed. Okay. Those pants look right to me too. Yeah. Okay. Swimsuit. Okay, I don't remember his swimsuit. Let me find it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Did we ever go swimming in step 3? I can't. I don't know. Do 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 do. Oh, here we go. Okay, so a swimsuit. Yeah. Okay, that looks right. He had blue swimsuit. And okay, let me go back to this one. He has this one. Okay. There we go. That's the cove that we got. Done. Oops. Can I change this? Oh. Oopsie. Okay, let me change his personality first. He was quiet. And oof, I don't remember. I don't know how studious or how sporty he was. Let's say that. I don't know. He was introverted at that step. Let me go back to the very first. Let me go back to the in between scene. Okay. Okay. Cove grew into someone no one would call social. Kept to himself usually. Careful, few connections did happen to reach outside them. He loved staying inside and learning just as much as ever. But his studies had paid off, and he had been right. He should be very studious. So studious and quiet. Done. Okay. How do I go back? I need to edit his. Hold on, okay. Oh, both. Oh, I have to do both. Okay. I have to do both. I'm like, how come I can't do both? Okay. I see. So. Okay. Next page. That's right. That's right. Okay. Done. Quiet. Studious. Done. Okay, your MC's comfort level is relax. Cove initiative level is middle initiative. Let me save though. Do you want sexual content to occur or automatically skip past those parts? The mode will include explicit CGs which can be hidden. If sexual content is on, you will still be able to decide how far you go and when to stop during the scene. You won't be forced to participate. If sexual content is off, there are non-explicit romance scenes to enjoy, but the event will be much shorter overall if you skip that. So don't skip the content but censor the art. What's your body size? Tall. And slender with I think I said some muscle definition, not really that much though. Flat. Underwear is nothing. I mean, not underwear. Well, yeah, underwear on top, nothing. Underwear on the bottom. Boxer briefs. That is, if y'all ain't know, that's what I do wear. Oh my goodness gracious. And also, hi to Gabriella. Welcome. Yeah, I decided to customize Cove, so I can create the code that I had at step 3. So I just went back to my old streams to look to see how Cove looked and also what they said his personality was at the beginning. So it will be continuous with the story that we've created so far. Okay, my underwear is plain. Okay, so it says, what type of genital do you want Cove to interact with? Highly specific scientific words won't be used to describe it during the scene. Now, I did look at this beforehand just to see. And it said, a part sticking out outwards from the lower area of the body, a frontal opening in the lower area of the body, a parts that's sticking out and also opening in. So I was like, okay, these are interesting descriptions. So I selected this one. And did you start a relationship with Cove more recently or is it long term? It is recent. Did you propose to Cove at the end of step 3? No, he did not. I did not. Last year, what's your plan for the future? Going elsewhere. That's all for the prologue. You can now get into the event itself. Thank you for playing. Okay, so earlier they said that. So I set the game so it won't skip the explicit content in the text, but it's not going to show. It will censor the CGs. So the CGs will be censored. And also it says you can determine how in depth you go. So that's that. That's what they said at the beginning. So breathing in the ocean air, you felt at ease being at the beach close to home. You were pleasantly warm. Watching the sunset over the horizon in a quiet evening. It was a beautiful sight, but tonight it was easy to look away. On the blanket next to you was your boyfriend, Cove Holden. From the way he was positioned, you could tell his eyes had been on you already. Now you could see the affection in his gaze and how the corner of his mouth pulled into a shy smile. There was a gentle, comfortable silence between you both. Summer ended some time ago, but the perk of living in Southern California meant there was still plenty of perfect beach days like today. Earlier, you both snagged a large blanket from Cole's house and packed up a bunch of on-the-go snacks to spend the afternoon there before the slightly chillier weather came back around. Cove had kicked his shoes off the moment you set things down, and neither of you had left the beach for hours. The last big summer outing you had was here with everyone, and that was a wonderful day. However, smiling at Cove, you were happy to have moments alone like this. It was special. Cove then suddenly broke eye contact, staring down at the ground in front of you. His fingers brushed and pulled away at a stray strand. You couldn't help but wonder what had been on his mind while you were musing to yourself. So, there's still some watermelon left. Do you want it? Oh. Was that what you've been thinking about all this time? He laughed. You sighed loudly. You beamed at him adoringly. Yes, I do. You stared at him blankly. I do want some watermelon. That's my favorite fruit. Cole's expression grew puzzled along you gazed preciously at him. Okay, so I'm just looking at him. Okay, I don't want to just stare at him like that. Yeah, I do. You could have it then. I've probably had 3 or 4 slices already. There wasn't much you can read in his expression. Cole pushed what was left of the watermelon slices closer to you. Also, why does it say Jamie? I thought I fixed. Wait, hold on. Let me go back. I thought I named myself. I'm going back. Hold on. I'm about to go back and fix. My name should be Pascal. I thought I named myself, but I guess I didn't. Okay. Brown. Okay, I'm gonna skip past this real quick. Do, 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 do. Okay. Pascal. Whitlock. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what I had. Okay, Cove. That was it. Yeah, that's how he looked. Okay. He was quiet and studious. Relax. Middle. Tall. Slender. Flat. Nothing. Boxer briefs. Plain. Recent. No. Okay. Did that work? Oops. Yes, I do. Okay, there we go. Pascal. Okay. Is that what you've been lost and thought about earlier? Whether or not to have more watermelon? What? Oh no. I I just felt like I need to find something to say. There wasn't really that really wasn't what I had in mind before. You playfully rolled your eyes at Cove. He shook his head slightly. What were you actually thinking then? Cole shrank into himself and fidgeted with his hands, growing more nervous by the second. It was about how nice you are. He laughed breathlessly and switched his squirming to awkwardly rubbing at his cheek instead. Cole wouldn't quite meet your stare. Come on, you've already used that line. That's a new one. He had to snicker. I don't know if he said that before, actually. This might be one of those choices where I could choose if he said that before or not in like the actual full game playthrough. I don't remember if he said that. He might have said that, so. Cole rolled his eyes and then a sturdier chuckle escaped him. Delighted, you watched him with a leading grin. Yeah, but it's a good line. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain. Cole ran a hand through his hair. He sighed, looking a bit frustrated while he composed his thoughts. I wasn't exactly thinking down some straight line of consciousness. It was more like just a lot of feelings building up and making a mess in my head. A lot of, wow, I'm so happy, and Pascal looks completely, amazingly perfect right now. And I really love you, and yeah, that kind of stuff. That's all. Oh, yeah, you definitely weren't thinking straight. Oh my goodness gracious. You're a wonderful guy. I was feeling the same way. I'm really glad that I asked. 'Cause that's too adorable. Blushing, you glanced away. I wonder if this choice is dependent on your gender. Like, is he talking about is he trying to make a joke, a sexuality joke? Um, let's see. Oh, your skin grew warmer at that overwhelmingly love-struck confession. Every beat of your heart felt like a boom into your ears. Goodness gracious, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Cove turned away from you and nervously tugged at the blank corner. You could tell that even the tips of his ears were red. I can't imagine when you're here like this, thinking about anything else. Another silence blanketed you both. Cove remained focused on the waves gently rolling in. Even after a few minutes, his cheeks were still stained pink. Cove didn't move, but he finally spoke, more comfortably this time. Would you want to go for a walk? Definitely, let's go. Sand started falling the moment you both stood up. You dusted yourself off, and Cove stretched his arms up above his head before offering his hand to you. You reached out and took it. You linked your arm around his. You held both your arms out to be carried instead. You crouched down to encourage him to get a piggyback ride. Reach. The warm raining rays of the sunshine bounced off of Cove and left him aglow. There were still bits of sand stuck to his skin, but that didn't stop you from interlocking your fingers with his. Elated, you settled in next to him. Cove was beaming, and he nudged you in closer so your forearms were flush against each other. There are some things that just never get old, no matter how many times you do them. This is one of them. Being together on the beach, being with me, holding hands, remain silent. Yeah, that's exactly right. A special place with a special person. You can't get much better than that. The only other thing that kind of compares, I think, is being at the Poppy Hill with you. You hummed in agreement, imagining the gorgeous poppies. Cove lifted his head up high and looked ahead into the distance where the hill would be. This is what I want the life I live to be, you know. It's how I hope I'll get to spend the time I have. So every day that has it matters to me. I hope you never stop being so sentimental. I can probably help you out having more of these days. Yeah, those really are the best kinds of days. You quietly nodded. I'd probably say this. Cove's teeth stank into his bottom lip, his face quickly turning pink. You couldn't help but watch him adoringly. Yeah, glad we agreed. Cove sighed happily. His smile stretched ear to ear, and his grip on you momentarily tightened with a comforting squeeze. Side by side, you both continued strolling up on the beach, scanning the shore for seashells or other interesting finds. It hadn't, but if it did that, well, no. It hadn't, but even if it did that, no. It hadn't, but even if it did, that still couldn't have dampened your mood. There you go. That time was filled with so much laughter and good conversation that you were walking on air. The sun had fully disappeared behind the waves by the time you settled back into your little spot on the shore. You turned your eyes to the night sky for a moment and breathed in the cooling air. Neither of you seemed willing to let the other go, so wordlessly you both sat on the blanket together. It took a moment of squirming to get position, but at the end of it, you were both there, still holding on to one another. Cove leaned back onto an elbow while he enjoyed the light, cool breeze coming off of the ocean. He smirked. Well, the watermelon's still there. I didn't eat it? I thought I said I'd eat it. It's still good if you want to eat it. Then his focus changed, and you could feel Cove's gaze exploring every inch of your face. You met his eyes, his head tilted to the side with a soft look. Thanks for coming out here with me. You don't have to thank me, you said, laughing. Thank you for being here. You're welcome. You're a cutie. Well, it's good that I happen to have a free evening. You beamed at him. You don't have to thank. I do, though. How else will you know? I'd still know. You're pretty easy to read. I love you. Those words never failed to turn you to putty on the spot. I love you too. Very, very much. The air changed between you both. and he began moving his face closer to you, towards you, his eyes softly beginning to close. Yes, you moved forward and sank, meeting Cove halfway. Humming happily, your lips brushed against his gently. You ran a hand across his chest. You tangled your fingers in his hair. You trailed your fingers back, trailed your fingers down his back. You broke the kiss off there. I have never kissed no one before, so I have no idea what I would do. But imagining it, let's say, ran a hand down his chest. It was heated and firm under the palm, and if your thoughts weren't elsewhere already, you would have been able to notice the drumming of his heart. Pressing hard against your mouth, Cove made a pleased sound. Cove pulled himself in tighter, shifting his legs into a better position. You followed, allowing him to deepen the kiss. And then Cove ended it, his half-lidded eyes slowly opening completely as he scooted away. Cove let his arms fall to his sides as he flopped his head down onto the blanket with a frustrated sigh. He twisted his head to the side, facing away from you. Hey, what's wrong? He only mumbled a curt answer. Nothing. You were at a loss for what to do. With his eyes widening, he partially sat up, catching the bluntness of his own poor attitude. Sorry. You frowned, and Cole withdrew again, donning his stare away in guilt. It's nothing you did, I swear. I'm just struggling with relationship stuff, I guess. What else is new? Cole's head hit the blanket once more. This time he rolled over completely to the side again. He almost missed his next question. He whispered, would it be awkward to talk about or awkward not to talk about it? Talking about relationship things is probably a good idea. I don't know if it'd be awkward or not since you're not saying what it is. I definitely want to hear what's on your mind right now. You didn't answer him. I'm curious. What back and forth on the blanket for added emphasis that you were waiting. Cole rolled his eyes. Cole shifted, wrapping his arms around himself. He pinched his brows, but he still didn't say anything. It was clear to you that Cole's mind was heavy with whatever was bothering him. The longer you watched him, the more you weren't sure if he even would be ready to speak about it tonight. Eventually, he built up some confidence in his demeanor. He sat up fully and took a deep breath. If this gets too embarrassing, you can totally tell me, and I'll stop, okay? Cove lightly put his hand over yours, and he nodded firmly. His warmth calmed you, and it would be wonderful if you touched it the same for him. So, I like being near you a lot, touching you and kissing you. It's really nice, but you know, at some point it stops feeling as good and gets hard to manage. He hung his red faced head in shame. However, he continued on. And it's not just that it's too much for me, like we've talked about it before. It's too much because it's not enough, and that makes me nervous. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way. I know, Cove, you aren't exactly great at hiding those feelings. Jokingly, you applaud him for being able to admit that. Oh, okay, yeah, this is too much for me too. Can we talk about something else? That's so rude and dismissive. Let's say this. Cove lifted his head up slowly. The waves of nerves coming off of him were palpable, but he still managed to give you a soft smile. Cole's mouth wobbled into a frown. It doesn't help that I don't usually deal with those feelings. It only builds up when it comes to you. And I mean, I get self-conscious about it when it does happen. Too bad that doesn't help me stop that doesn't help me stop doing it. His shoulders slumped, and Cove buried his face into his hands. I don't know what to do. I'm glad you feel that way about me. We can do whatever you want to do, Cove. Me. Do me. Do me. Oh my goodness gracious. You don't have to do anything. We can do whatever you want to do, Cove. Pascal. Cove mumbled your name helplessly and pressed his face into his hands more firmly. His words repeated in your head, making your chest tighten. The realization struck you that Cove should have been... The realization struck you then that Cove should have a more straightforward answer on your own feelings. Cove, I want more too. Listen, it's okay. I'm ready to go whenever you are. I'm nervous too, but I think I could go further. It's too much for me too. Let's see. I've never been in a relationship, so do some imagination. I'm torn between this one. I think I want to do this one. Because I want, especially since I'm playing this game, I want to get some action. So it's like, whatever he does, you know, I'm ready. But I could also, like, if I was actually in the situation myself, I could also say this too. I feel like I could also have that feeling as well. But I'm gonna choose this. Cove slowly lowered his hands and eyed you cautiously. I mean it. Just say when. He shivered and all the doubt fell away. A small hint of his bent smile pulled at the corner of his mouth, but his voice was still shaky with nerves. Then, I mean, it's not that late. The tension was palpable, but instead of unsure nerves, it was a building excitement. Cove's voice hushed into a whisper. My dad won't be home for at least a couple more hours. Maybe this will be a good chance to try more. Once he got the last word out, Cole's whole body froze while yours felt moments away from combusting. It didn't feel possible that Cole Holden could or would ever say that out loud. But it was real. Cove honestly offering you the invitation to get sexual. And everything came down to you. He waited with bated breath for your answer. Okay, we can try. He's finally. Only if you're really ready. You nodded. It's okay, we don't have to do that right now. You shook your head. So, I'm gonna choose this. I'm curious. Cove let out a large, almost coughing breath, laughing, your mouth bent into a grin. He choked out a small reply. Okay. You bundled everything you brought to the beach into your arms and stood up. Stepping back to give Cove room, he gathered the blanket into his arms the best he could. Still, a part of the blanket continued to get dragged on the ground. He stared down at it, puzzled at how he was going to get that up with his hands so full. Then Cove shrugged. Oops. Oh well. Does your house really need more sand? Shifting the things around, you grabbed the dangling part of the blanket, threw it over Cole's shoulder. Good enough. You didn't pay any mind to it. Yeah, let's help him. The motion sent sand cascading down to the ground, and when you looked up, you realized that Dusty Cove and you left sand too. Chuckling, you watched Cove crack a tiny smile. Thanks for that. Teamwork. You're welcome. After that, you both made the trek back home. Cove stumbled along the way, excuse me, and your light laughter filled the air, replacing the fading noise of the waves crashing over the sand. Despite the fun, an unspoken tension coiling tighter propelled you home in a record time. The night felt more charged than the air before a storm. You arrived back at Cole's house and followed him to the kitchen. He started to drop the picnic stuff he was carrying anywhere there was a clear surface. You took your cue from him and haphazardly spread what you carried onto the various free spots on the counters. You heard a quick breath from Cove and turned your attention away from the stovetop that you just set a basket on. He started to mumble. I'll put everything away later. Cove stared at the picnic basket in front of him, laying unfolded on the kitchen island. You nodded, realizing that he couldn't see you. Cove seemed like a roughly carved ice sculpture, frozen in place. He was stiff in an unnaturally strained pose. He then slapped his hands on the marble counter and let out another deep sigh. His eyes lifted to look at you. Cove reached out carefully. You let him gently take your hand. It was nice, despite the clammy feel of his skin. Your heart started to pound almost painfully hard. If it got any worse, you feel like it would be loud enough for Cove to hear. Cove took the first step out of the kitchen, and the two of you drifted towards his bedroom. I'm getting nervous. I'm actually getting nervous. Oh my goodness gracious. He accidentally opened the door with an unneeded level of force. You didn't see his expression as you followed him, but you could tell he was burning up. Cove's hands clenched around yours. His grip was tight, but not crushingly so. You shut the door behind you with a click. Cove jumped at the sound. He was shaking at this point, a jittery relief. He let out a croaking sound. It took a second for you to recognize that he'd spoken words rather than spontaneously decided to imitate a frog. He noticed how ineffective that communication was and repeated himself. Here we are. Yeah, here we are. Are you okay? It's alright, Cove. You sighed at how this was going. You felt as jumpy as he did. You made a joke about his croaking. I would probably be feeling as jumpy as he is right now. Cove peeked back at you. Noticing your expression, his eyebrows raised in concern. Are you okay, Pascal? His care made you feel a bit braver. You felt a warmth in your chest that slowed your racing heart a little. I'm fine. You will make it through together. Cove stood up straighter. His gaze slipped off your face as he looked around the room instead. How in the world do people do this? He threw his arms out dramatically, asking the world itself. The world, predictably, didn't answer. It was up to you. They just do. Well, I have no idea. It's not that hard. We can figure it out. I ain't gonna say it's not that hard. They just do. That's how I would respond probably. They just do. Cove hummed consideringly at your response. Have you, gone further with someone else before? You don't have to answer that. Well, the answer is no. So, let me read it. No, but millions of people figured out, so it can't be too hard. Cove nodded non-committally. His feet inched his body closer to yours. He wanted to do something, but struggled with that. He reached a hand towards you. Also, hold on. Hello. Oh, Copy Flower, welcome. How are you doing today? I really appreciate you stopping by and taking a break from what you were doing just to tune in. He reached a hand to let it drop after he tried to go for your shoulder, then switched trajectory to your hip and then back up. Cole made another step towards you and then took it back. His hand balled into fists. Cole was completely stonewalled by his inability decide physically what to do with himself. Finally, he rubbed at his eyes with the palms of his hands as he laughed at himself and shook his head wryly. Let's at least start is just to kiss each other like we normally do. That might make it easier to get into stuff. Sounds good. Oh yeah, that makes sense. You nodded your head, wanting to continue. You shook your head, getting too nervous. Actually, I can't do it. Okay, we gonna do it. We're gonna see how this goes. Sounds good. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I probably would be dumbstruck. So let's just nod. Cove's attention fell to your lips, and he moved nearer. Cove delicately cupped your face in his hands, rubbing a thumb against your skin. He leaned in while guiding you closer as well. You slid into it and met him for a kiss. Cove kissed you slowly, patient and loving. Despite your plans, he showed no sign of rushing past this moment. You matched his speed and began to up the intensity. He turned his head to pull in a breath before nuzzling your cheek and returned to kissing. This time, his kiss was needier and more intense. You were absorbed, or your focus on Cove, the feel of his lips, the heat of his breath, the softness of his skin, the promise of more. The two of you broke apart once more. His arms twined around you, holding you tight. You initiated the next kiss, wrapping your arms against him. You felt warm and excited. You ran your hand through his hair. You reached down and pulled at Cole's shirt. You began to pull your own shirt off. You didn't realize that you didn't feel the desire to do more after all. So like all these choices are giving you a chance to stop. How about we keep it at the hair for right now? You reached up and dragged your fingers through his pale green strands of hair. It felt nice to just be with Cove. You didn't have to force anything. He seemed to feel the same about you because without needing to be prompted, he naturally shifted his hands down to pull up his shirt. You breathed in deep, struck by what was happening. Wait, please, I don't think I could do this. You followed his lead and removed your shirt. We're gonna continue. Cole's pants came off next, along with his glasses. He didn't hesitate with his pants, but stopped there. He wasn't ready to completely undress, at least not yet. Took off your pants as well. Why am I like kind of second guessing myself now? And I'm thinking like I pressed the button that said that we will censor the CGs, right? I just want to make sure I did that. I'm gonna go back and look at my VOD just to make sure I did. Let me make sure I did that. Like I'm second guessing myself. Hold on. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, I did. I just want to make sure. Okay, let's continue. Now, all of a sudden, you were both standing together in Cole's room on this familiar, lightly sanded floor with none but your underwear. But as far as Cole seemed to take notice, you might as well have not been wearing anything. His eyes were entirely focused on your newly exposed skin. You were glad that you chose that for your day-to-day underwear. You definitely could have gone worse. You definitely could have had worse underwear on for this moment. Good enough. You have regrets about your choice of underwear today. I mean, I'm not wearing anything special, so. Cole shifted side to side in place, his brain working overtime for something to say. Man, you've seen me with my shirt off all the time at the beach and stuff, but wow, this feels different, huh? You assumed that he was making an attempt to keep things lighthearted, but his strained grin forced onto his face and painfully awkward laughter, but he did not succeed. This is basically the same amount of coverage, but it's way more like being naked in front of you, if you can imagine what I'm saying. I mean, oh no, you don't have to imagine that if you don't want to. But I'm not trying to stop you either. If you do, you can think whatever you want. Oh, Cove. Okay, but wait, have you imagined that before? Okay, thanks, then I will. You let that pass without comment. Have you? Have you imagined what I would look like naked? No, that would be, that would be. The three words started on repeat until you prompted a little more. That would be rude. I thought about you that way. No, it wouldn't be. I'm your boyfriend. Don't worry about it, Cove. Um, I mean, yeah, if I was in a relationship with you, I probably would have thought about it. So, oh my god. Really? Yes, really. Um, thanks. I'm glad you told me. And you know that you did it too, also. So, thanks. Too? Does that mean you have done it? No, I meant too, as in telling me and also thinking of me. Both of those things, not that other thing. You frown deeply at the explanation. He slumped his shoulders. He then closed his eyes, letting out a massive, self-disappointed sigh. His inner struggle and frustrations were plainly visible. When the long release of air ended, he pulled it all back in by taking a deep breath through the nose. Cove opened his eyes. We both know what's gonna happen. I just have to finally admit what I actually mean and think and feel, and we'll see what happens. So, that's what I'm gonna do, alright? Alright, please do. I'm listening. You incline your head into a yes. Wait, no, I can't. You embarrassedly shook your head no. Hmm. Let's. All right. Cove repeated the word with the utmost seriousness. Pascal, I think you are sexy. And, you know, you turn me on, and I want to do things with you in general and tonight, right now. He crossed his arms over his chest in what could have been a resolute stance in other circumstances. Well, with Cove simply came across as him desperately wanting to hide. And yeah, you laughed at his attempt to be direct. You laughed at his attempt to be direct. I think you sexy. He blushed at the honest admission. Thank you for saying so. What a coincidence. I want to do things to you right now too. You're welcome for that. Let's see. His attempt to be direct is cute. That makes me want to laugh. But I feel like if I was in the situation, I would probably not laugh. I'd probably be too embarrassed. So I'd probably blush. The only solace you could take was that the two of you matched in that regard. As hard as it was for Cove to get the words out. After being honest and seeing your reaction, Cove was finally able to relax. There was a genuine lightness to how he held his head up. He knows that there's nothing wrong with the way he feels, and that you wouldn't hate him for it. Seeing that change in him was wonderful. But the sense of peace didn't last long. It had clicked in him that not only did he have nothing to fear, but there was nothing standing in his way no more. The look in Cove's eyes shifted. There was a sparkling tension in the way his gaze held yours. Pascal? Yes? Oops. What I should do? Okay. If we're gonna do this, I think we should take turns. I mean, we could each try out what it's like to really get into touching, like the chest area or something. It'd be foreplay, I think. He pulled out an encouraging smile with a slight bent to it. I think that go a lot smoother for the first time than coordinating around each other. Your face got hot at hearing him suggest something like that. You understood where he was coming from. Please, can I touch you? I want you to touch me. Okay, but could you choose who do it first? And then I can't. This is getting to be too much. Let's see. Okay. You said it directly and clearly, entirely sure of what you like. Cove trembled visibly at hearing those words. Then, can I do it? Yeah. He swallowed hard and nodded, his eyes glittering. He lifted his hands carefully towards your body, and you already felt ready to bust. The lips of his fingers made contact so very lightly, and he began to feel you out, gently and slowly. Your stomach dipped at the teasing sensation. His hands brushed down the toned lines of your torso. I probably should have written, that line was probably there because I said I have some muscle definition, but I don't know if I have toned lines on my torso. I have like some bicep muscles, but that's it. I probably should have said no muscle definition. But this is a fantasy version of me, so that's okay. You could easily tell how careful and attentive Cove was with how he touched you. He regularly kept an eye on your expression, and your fingers responded to every shudder they caused. It was also equally apparent that Cove enjoyed your body and being free to touch it. Having someone who cherished you as much as he did made your insides flutter. Okay, you kiss his neck, you said his name, you praised him, you ran your hands down his back, you focused on breathing, letting Cove do what he felt. You asked him to try something else. You had enough of only being touched by Cove this way. You only wanted to move forward already. You asked Cove to stop completely. Let's say that. In response, you tilt your head to the side and started to kiss and nibble at Cove's exposed neck. You desperately needed to do something, but did not want to interrupt what he was doing to you. Cove let out a few pleasured mumbles. His arms came around to hold you as he transitioned to kissing your front. He began near the collarbone, but systemically worked his way all along your torso, becoming more and more comfortable with the new parts of you he now had access to. Oh, goodness. Let's run a hand down his back, I guess. You dragged your fingers lower and lower, enjoying every moment of it all. Cove cupped the side of your face, coming in close to ask a question. Do you need anything? Just you? I need you to keep going. Whatever you want right now, I want. You shook your head. Actually, I don't think I want to do anything else. Just you, Cove. Cove bobbed his head readily. Okay. The words came out fast, airy. You could tell by the look on his face that he was getting bold and was getting frisky. That's likely why he wanted to double check how you were first. He released your face and stared down at your exposed chest intently. Okay. Cove licked at his lips nervously and then used that tongue to lick down your body. Let's see. Let's do this. Say his name. That was all you could manage. Cove. The single word breathed out of you, and Cole's heart rate shot up. Pascal, right? His expression, that is his expression is really cute. He shifted his position to kiss across the top of your shoulder. His hands caressed your body, full of affection, making you shiver pleasantly. No matter how much more confident and in the moment he got, your needs were never forgotten. That made it so easy to fall deeper into him. Cole placed the large palm of his hand square against one of your pecs. He used the other hand to cradle the back of your head. Cole leaned in to kiss your mouth, breathing hot and heavy, hot and heavy. While still groping at your chest, you needed to kiss him back. It felt intense. Cole sighed, struggling to keep the release even, and took a step back, ending the touching for the moment. Both of his hands were pulled through his hair as nervous energy radiated off of him, but it wasn't fearful, it was excited. Cole glanced at your face with heavily lidded eyes. Pascal, could you try touching me? Yes, absolutely. You nodded your head silently. I don't think I can keep going. You shook your head, so you kissed up and down his torso. You held him close, pressing your bodies together. You tried touching his nipples. You asked him what he wants you to do. You had to stop completely. You don't want to keep going with this. Let's reciprocate what he was doing. You let your fingers wander across his body, touching and pressing into his skin. The movements was reminiscent of applying sunscreen to another person, though this felt significantly better. You didn't need any kind of pretense to touch Cole here. While mumbling softly, Cole wrapped his arms around your lower back as you explored him. Then, kissing up and down his torso seems like a natural follow-up. You started right at the base of his neck and simply continued from there. You lost yourself in it, unsure of how many times you brought your mouth to his body. The kisses were gentle but eager. Cole's skin was hot, but you could feel his heart pounding. It was intoxicating, and not just for you. Oh, Pascal, fuck. That word caught you so off. It did, for real. It caught me off guard. That word caught you so off guard. It completely snapped you out of the trance you followed into. That's like, what? I was like, Grove? What? You cuss? Oh, yeah, sometimes, I guess. But I don't have to. I was like, huh? Okay. Fuck yeah, you should swear. I'd appreciate if you didn't around me. It's really cute you only do it in times like this. Don't stop. Don't feel bad. I'm okay with it. It's cool. I'm flattered I got that reaction. It makes me uncomfortable. Sorry. I'm not someone who cusses. Like it's not something that I do. But everyone at my school curse, so it's like being around that all the time is like it's not really kind of made me numb to it. It's like I'm not really that surprised by it. The only time I get really surprised by it is if obviously like in this case someone that I haven't heard cusses, or if I have my siblings when they say stuff like that I'm like, excuse me, watch your mouth. But anyone else is like, it's okay. Don't feel bad. I'm okay with it. Okay, thanks. It seemed opening up to each other physically was leading to becoming closer in other ways too. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I don't know who is still here, but the internet just disconnected for some reason. Goodness gracious. So, ugh. The stream still says that it's still running right now, but Yeah, the internet just disconnected. Sorry about that. So you use your hands on them. You try to use your mouth. You use your hand on one and your mouth on the other. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, good, 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 good. I was like, I can't do this alone, y'all. I need y'all with me. um, okay. Let's see. Let's get a little spicy. Let's do hand and mouth. You slid a hand over his chest while leaning your face in closer. Tentatively, you pressed one of Cole's nipples in between your fingers while taking the second in between your lips. Also, I said, I don't know actually when. I don't know what you mean exactly by the good part, but I don't know since I've never played this before, so I don't know when anything happens in this. Okapi flower. He gasped sharply. Cole's back went completely rigid for an instant before he switched to squirming in place. God, oh God, Pascal. For real, right? I would not. Me too. It's like I would probably be cringing so hard. Goodness gracious. But yeah, having people, having y'all here with me helps me to. I can get through it. Oh. But rather than trying to get away, he took one of your shoulders, grounding you right there. You didn't try to pull away. Grounding you. I said grounding you. Grounding you. Okay. Cove chewed on the bottom of his lip, and his grip continued to tighten as you kept going, rolling a nipple in between your fingers and teasing the other with your tongue. Cove squeaked and mumbled. His legs began to buckle, and his grasp became downright desperate, clawing into you for support. At that point, you pulled back. Cove panted, out of relief, and at least a little. Okay. It just no. Okay, it just reconnected. Then you had him close, pressing your bodies together. Let's check in with Cove like you checked in with us. You put a pause to what you were doing to examine Cove's face. He was flushed and breathing heavily. How do you feel? That's embarrassed too, for real. The question caused him to start. He was embarrassed. You didn't even have to ask to know that much. Oh, good. Great, really. It's really great. But then he whispered sweetly and ran his knuckles against your cheek just softly. Thanks. You sure felt encouraged by that. Of course. You shared matching smiles of appreciation with one another. Then, let's hold him close. Your smooth, naked chests went flush against each other. You rubbed yourself up and down, trying to even be nearer to him. The sensation of it really worked for Cove. He pulled his hips in, grinding the lower parts of you together. But the action was more instinctive than intentional, based on his flustered reaction to it. Sorry. It's okay. Don't apologize. That's what we're here for. I liked it. You nodded acceptantly. Pascal, I'm glad. It took a second, but he was able to shake off the rising panic. He wasn't going to let himself forget that he didn't have to be afraid. That made you happy. Then, let's ask what he wants us to do. Cove, is there anything you want from me? He froze over the direct request. How you didn't push the issue. After everything you talked before, you were confident he would answer when he could manage it. Slowly, the tense lines in his face eased. I want to keep touching like we planned, but I also want you to kiss me. On the lips, I mean. Oh, you understood how he enjoyed that familiar intimacy right now. It would probably be reassuring as you were both doing brand new things to each other. With a smile, you rested your hands against him and lifted your face closer. I can do that. He grinned shakily. The touch went all the way to your hands. He grasped them only tightly, and only for a second before removing himself from you. Can I turn off the lights? Those quiet words set off bells in your head. Your heart pounded painfully hard. Cole was ready to go further. Yes, good idea. Please. You nodded, giving him the okay to move ahead. Wait, I can't do this. You shook your head, needing him to stop. Excuse me. Cove took a step backwards without moving his eyes from you. He walked in an awkward, uneasy gait. Part of it had to do with his likely very distracted thoughts, but equally must have been because he still refused to look at anything other than your face. You were a lighthouse in his storm of brewing emotions. Cove paused to tense his hands into fists. Then he turned completely, taking large strides towards the wall. He flipped the lights off and switched his trajectory back towards the middle of the room in one motion. All that remained was a pale blue glow that came from Cole's fish tank. The color gently laid across him, and it made his ocean eyes shine even more than they did in the normal light. There wasn't any hesitation in the movements now. It had been much harder to leave than it was to return. He came to stand right before you, close enough that you were almost pressed against each other. His presence warmed your body through. It was comforting and affectionate, and it was safe. Pascal. Cove dropped your name in a hush. The tone was leading towards more, so you waited on pins and needles for it. I don't think I can go all the way tonight, but I still wanna, get each other off. He whispered like you were sharing a secret. Considering the topic, though, it was likely something he wanted to keep only between the two of you. The words he spoke next were much sturdier. As long as you want to. Would you really do that for me? Would you really let me do that to you? I do, but I don't know where to start. Are you sure? Just checking. Actually, I'm okay with what's already happened. You shook your head, not comfortable doing more. I do, but where do we start? He visibly tense. Well, I don't have to be the one who decides on something. You can. I mean, could you do it to me? Oh, you couldn't deny it was surprising that Cove of all people would actually do the sexual act on him. I mean, to act sexually to him. Sorry. Regardless of his hesitation in saying so, the excitement whipping your chest just continued to grow and grow. Don't apologize. I asked and you were being honest. If you want it, then I want it too. Cole's shoulders twitched and his head snapped back forward. He tried to even his high-pitched, stuttered tone before continuing. I do. I want you. Moving together, you and Cove approached the bed. Unsure what else to do, he dropped down to the seat on the edge of the mattress. His back was rigid, as if he was just another popped-up surfboard in his room. You were taking the lead here, so you gently nudged him further onto the bed. Cove didn't resist as you helped him relax against the pillows. Okay. So, it should be censored. I'm just trying to make sure, it should be censored. So, YouTube, don't come at me. He laid there willingly as you climbed onto the sheets and positioned yourself on the opposite side of where he was. Intently, you studied the boxes wrapped tightly against his body. Cove, could you take those off? Can I take those off? You reached over to tellingly tug at the top band. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Well, he wants us to lead, so. He flinched slightly, but transitioned that movement to nod in encouragement. As inelegant as there was a reaction, you had his approval. Okay. You ripped them off with no hesitation. You took them off delicately. You froze, unable to keep going. Uh, your fingers took hold of each side of the boxes. Consciously trying not to startle him, you carefully began to move them down. Okay. Cole's breath hitched when the cloth went all the way past his thighs. Look at his face, though. It's so cute. You didn't get any impression he wanted you to stop. However, you continued. Once they slipped past his feet, you dropped the boxes off the side of the bed, removing them from the equation completely. For the first time, you were able to admire Cove in his entirety, with absolutely nothing obstructing the view. Oh, on the other end, Cole was not able to look at you. His eyes were firmly staring at the pattern of the blanket he'd surely seen hundreds of times before. You're beautiful. I fantasize about this, you know. Wow. You can only manage to stare bashfully. Nice dick. You froze, unable to keep going. Wow. Oh, you're beautiful. Or stare. Oh, I don't know. What would I do? Yeah, this sensation is like just one big block. It's not like how they do in the you expect them to leave the clothes on. I was kind of expecting to see, you know, like the white light that you sometimes see in like a manga, manhwa, right? So I was kind of expecting that. I'm gonna say I will stare. Yeah. So what now? Oh, you said to tell him that he's beautiful? Okay. I'll say that. Thank you. You smiled at the studied answer. It was so sweet. So, what now? You were burning hot. It was just not possible to wait any longer for this. Then, you began to stroke him carefully. You kissed all over his face. You toyed with his ear, using your mouth. You spoke sweetly to him. You repositioned yourself to place your face between his thighs. It was between his thighs. You pushed yourself back, wanting to stop. Oh, you say I should speak sweetly to him? Okay, I could do that. And also, they could have gone. Oh, I've seen that before too. I've seen how they have like stickers like that. That would have been cute. uh, you know, it could have ruined the mood though. It could have. Maybe like one of those like he's like surfing, so maybe we could have put a surfboard. Anyway, with your faces close together, you whispered soft words of affection to your boyfriend. You're such an incredible person. You make me so happy. There's no one who means more to me than you, Cove. He hummed warmly, taking in every single word. He delicately brushed your noses together. Cove was precious to you and certainly just in general. Then, well, let's begin by kissing his face. You placed tiny kisses across his face, his cheeks, down his jawline, the corner of his lips, his nose, and forehead. You kissed them again and again. Cove mumbled delicate words you could barely hear, but at the very least you knew your name was falling from his lips and that he was happy. You were happy too. Then, Let's toy at his ear. You, your head tilted forward, towards the side so you could take one of Cole's earlobes in between your lips. You started out sucking gently, then nibbling at it, and finished by dragging your tongue along the edges. Cole sighed in ecstasy, melting into the touch with none of his usual stiffness. That move was a big hit for the both of you. Then, well, let's begin. You took a steady breath, and then you let your fingers tightly trail up the length of Cole's already hot dick. Your first, he slammed his eyes shut. You paused, needing to know if he was being overcome positively or negatively. He noticed you stopped what to say. You can keep going, please. With that kind of encouragement, you wrapped your head around him fully, then began to stroke and massage him. He chewed on the inside of his cheeks, trying to keep his mouth closed. That effort wasn't enough to stop a few stray moans from coming out. You leaned closer to him, excitedly, and continued to keep a steady pace with your hand. He spoke your name in a tiny, intoxicated voice. Pascal. Then, okay, so I got two new choices. Um, okay, let's just continue. Your pace ramped up in intensity. Cole twisted on the sheets and murmured breathlessly non-stop as your hand moved vigorously against him. None he said resembled anything close to a complete sentence. He wasn't capable of that in the moment. It was all scattered, desperate, pleasure whines. You feel dampness spreading over your fingers. He was getting close. That's what you were aiming for. You kept it up. You paused, giving Cove a break. You let go, haven't stopped entirely. Do I want it to reach a climax right here? I don't know if I want to do it right here. Okay, I'm gonna go back and click this one and see what this is. You momentarily stop the movement of your hand to instead let your fingers constrict around Cole's dick in a firm hold. It predictably made him squeak, audibly squeak. He just barely stopped himself from jolting up and kicking your heads together. Was it too hard? Did I hurt you? Am I squeezing it? Like, just squeezing it hard? No. He struck down low onto the bed after the outburst. In a choked whisper, he revised the original statement to be more honest. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt in a bad way. Your eyes went wide. It couldn't have been helped. Hearing that, you gave him another squeeze. Oh, God. I didn't know I was going to be doing all this. Oh, fuck, Pascal. You held onto your shoulders as a potent shock went through him. Then his forehead fell to rest against you. He groaned into your skin. Yeah, I wore him down, but in the very best of ways. Feeling resoundingly thrilled, you began to stroke him again. Your grasp remained tighter. Then... Okay, I'll just continue with this then. So, skip. Yeah. You were absolutely buzzing with energy. Your heartbeat was blasting in your ears. You wanted this. Cole's desperate mumbles turned to moaning your name on repeat. He grasped at your face with shaking hands. Fun fact, this image traumatized you last year at summer. Why is that? Pascal. When that wasn't secure enough, he crumbled forward, wrapping your arms around your neck and pressing his face into the back of your shoulder. It is very detailed. It is. Sweat dripped off him, getting you even more wet. You leaned into him and continued with the relentless pace, needing to keep getting that response out of your boyfriend. Cove moaned loud enough to drown out even the sound of your pulse pounding your head, and you were struck over the hands and chest with the heated mess of Cove's climax. You gasped, stunned. You were really in this moment right now. Your lover's soft cries from his release were the only things keeping you grounded. And then at that, you finally let him go. You let out a deep, shaky pant, barely able to maintain upright. His eyes shut, frown trembling. Cole was more flushed than you'd ever seen him before. Even in the low light, he was bright red. Slowly, cautiously, you crawled up to the mattress in order to lay down next to Cove. He welcomed you easily, turning onto his side and reaching out to you to hold you in his arms. He pressed his mouth against yours longingly. Cole said something between breaths, but you weren't sure what it was. He didn't choose to elaborate. Then it went silent for a time. There were only the sounds of ragged breathing between the two of you. When Cole finally calmed enough to really speak, he went right into doting on you. That was so good. Better than I thought it could be. But I hope you're alright. If it was awkward or weird or anything, you can let me know. I promise I won't be mad. Cove shifted his position again to get a better look at your face, searching for a reaction. You reassured him of those worries. You complimented him for the experience. You teased him for the panic. Let's reassure him. I'm okay, I promise. I'm happy we did. Pascal, thank you for this. Oh, am I supposed to thank you for something like that? Is it embarrassing? Was there something else I was meant to say or do? By the wide, humiliated expression on his face, you can imagine Cove was aware he was babbling, yet he couldn't stop himself from doing so. You're eating fries while watching this. Oh my goodness gracious. That's so funny. Like, ooh, it's just that's so funny. Don't worry about it. You're welcome. No, thank you for doing this. It's okay. You can do what you're comfortable with. You don't have to thank me for getting you off. You just smiled at him adoringly. What do I say? Let's say, right? Thanking, like, that reminds me, that reminds me of something. There was this, speaking of something that was so cute. I think I saw one video of, not video, it was a Reddit post that was reposted somewhere. What was it? But there was this autistic, man, just like Cove. He engaged in sexual activity with his girlfriend, but what did he do? I can't remember what he did. But people were saying that it's so cute that he would like say and act something like that. Apparently, and he didn't know that it wasn't something that people normally did. Like Cole, like people don't really thank people after this. Like that's not what you usually do. I can't remember what it was, but it's just Cove being Cove, so cute. But there was a situation similar like that I saw online. I can't remember what he did after, but it's something like sweet like that, something like considerate like that. So I'm gonna say, smile at him adoringly. Cove laughed self-consciously, but that put an end to that ramble. Cove's neck stretched all the way back. He stared at the ceiling, breathing deeply. The both of you need a chance to get yourselves together. Then his head dropped downwards into his hands. He pulled his fingers across the skin, slowly to wipe himself off. They remained in place even after he finished. Needing the shelter of a partially covered face, he glanced at you once more. Pascal. Tone was heavy again in a way that you were starting to become familiar with. It sent shivers through you every time. Yes? Do you want me to do that to you? Yeah. Oh, definitely. Whatever you want, Cove. You nodded eagerly. You shook your head regrettably. Oh, yes. That one, yes. That's the one I'm talking about, Gabriella, yes. Yeah, something like that. He would help her get dressed up again like that. Yeah, that's the one. Whatever you want, Cove. Do you want to do it? Do you want this? Cove slipped off the bed in order to stand in front of you. You moved to situate yourself on the edge of the mattress and face him in return. With embarrassment so consuming it was palpable in the air, he got down on the trembling knees, his arms stretched out to be positioned around your sides, not quite touching but close. Cole's hand shook as he gripped the blanket you were sitting on. This is the CG I did see, uncensored. Like, this uncensored CG was on the display of the Patreon post, so I got to see how it looked. Yeah. As shy as Cole's expression still was, he was still also expectant. Your expression, your entire body flushed with heat. You took your underwear off. You let Cove take your underwear off. You couldn't do it. You need to stop. Well, I did it for him. He can do it to me instead now. You shifted your legs to give him access, and Cove took the hint. He tugged at the thin cloth of your boxer briefs. Cove wasn't able to look as he pulled it past your butt, and the final layer fall the rest of the way down your legs to the floor. It was thrilling. Now you were fully naked. Though you didn't have any clothes left, you still had an anklet on. Fully naked. The sight of you had Cove worked up afresh, despite having recently finished. Oops. You look really nice. He fidgeted shyly in his spot on the floor, feeling pain over a pitiful attempt to compliment you. You were just as embarrassed to be seen like this as he was to you. You were feeling good about the reaction you were getting. You made an effort to smile reassuringly at Cove. I will be just as embarrassed. You felt so exposed, and that only made you nervous. Your boyfriend feeling the same way as you was your only comfort. Possibly because he desperately needed something to do, he pushed your plain boxer briefs towards the rest of your clothes, closer to the middle of the room. You silently thanked your underwear for the help earlier, but you didn't need them now. Cove's gaze also wandered off to the side, and he took a steady breath. A tense pause was the only thing left between you, and then he made eye contact with you once more, delicately and exploratory. Cove began to fondle your body. His fingers lightly traced the edge of the opening between your legs and moved up along the length. Cove's moves were shaky, but he made an attempt to project surety for your sake. If you ever want me to stop or do something else or anything, you can say so. Whatever you need. He continued to speak soft, confident words as his hand touched you equally gently. Pascal, being with you makes me happier than anything else. You praised him, said his name, panting. You pulled his hair encouragingly, asked him to kiss you, begged for him to keep going. You just tried to remember to breathe. You carefully nudged Cove back, wanting to stop. How about touched his hair. Both your hands ran through the soft green strands of Cove's hair. You gripped and tugged in pleasure. The sensation had Cove moaning softly against your skin. He was enjoying it as much as you were. Your eyes fluttered between as you sunk into the feeling, but just as you were being taken in, it stopped. You lifted one lid to check what was happening and then slammed it back shut as a new shudder went down your spine, hot and wet. Unmistakably, Cove had switched to using his tongue. I'm not watching it, like my eyes are closed right now. He had dragged it across the full length of the area. You were shell-shocked at how rapidly he progressed, but through the spinning haze in your mind, you recalled this wasn't the first time he'd showed a preference for mouthwork over hands. How's not the first time? What do you mean by that? Your dramatic reaction to the move didn't go unnoticed. He searched for a sign that he should stop or keep going. Keep going. You grind yourself into the bed impatiently. As much as you enjoyed... Oh, am I not? Wait. Okay, yeah, okay. No. Okay, I want to just continue doing what he's doing right now. Hold on, wait. Wait. Okay, let's praise him. That's so nice. Fuck, you know what you're doing. You feel fantastic. Cove, I love this. Okay, how about this? Oh, Cove, I love this. Through heavily lidded eyes, you could see the sweet smile from Cove's face. Your response had successfully boosted Cove's confidence. He began to act more vigorously with you. He hooked your arms under your legs and propped your thigh up higher to have easier access. The tongue teasing elevated to his warm lips, spreading around you as he took part of you into his mouth. You gasped instinctively. You said his name panting. I guess, yeah. Cove. You spoke in a gasp and Cove shook at the sound. It was extremely encouraging for him. You wanted this. There was no denying it and no hiding it. Your body leaned in as Cove touched needily. He sucked on your tip and then slid his tongue down to press deep inside you. He pulled out and repeated the motion on loop. You moaned inside as your back arched. You wouldn't last much longer. Almost. He increased the pace, trying to give you the friction you craved. Sparks popped behind your closed eyelids. Cove! He gripped you tighter and clasped your hands on the shoulders, needing support. The world blurred, all your focus was lost, and your entire body shook as you reached the climax. It felt intense. There was no way to tell how long it took for the ringing in your ears to calm down and for your vision to stop being entirely white. But when you could finally open your eyes again, you saw Cole waiting patiently for you to come down from the high. His neck and chest were wet. That was amazing. That was worth the wait. Damn. You're so incredible. You focus on calming your breathing. That was amazing. He smiled quietly up at you. The warmth of it was comforting. He was satisfied, and that made you feel even better. He then pushed himself onto his feet. Standing in front of you, Cove caressed your cheek. You rested your hand over his, enjoying the tender connection. Are you okay? I hope that was good enough. I'm alright, I promise. I'm much better than okay. You did way better than good enough. I'm fine, are you alright? You nodded. You did way better than good enough. Cove chuckled bashfully and pulled you into a full embrace with both his arms. You giggled, wrapping yourself around his back. He felt so reassuring and familiar, despite being stickier than usual. You were immensely happy to be you were immensely happy being here this way with your boyfriend. You held on to one another, soaking in the moment. Eventually though, Cole's grip loosened. Cole then stepped to the side in order to sit down next to you on the bed. You shifted to him to give him more room, while also repositioning your posture to be more casual. Once the two of you were settled, Cove leaned in and kissed you on the forehead. His lips left you, but didn't depart in full. Cove pressed his forehead against yours to remain close. You nuzzled closer and the two of you began to breathe at the same pace. You felt wonderfully self-reassured with Cove. You want to talk over the experience with him. You simply want to rest now. Let's rest. You had done everything you felt you needed to. It was time to enjoy quietly being with your lover. The moment was wonderful. Well, mission accomplished. Cove, tonight was genuinely amazing. I'm so happy we did this. All of it. For someone so nervous about this, you sure nailed it. All you could do was feeling truly content. Let's be reassuring again. Cove choked up. His lower lip shook and sucked in a deep breath through his nose. Thank God. I really wanted our first time to be good. I didn't read that right now. Thank God. I really wanted our first time to be good. It's so great that you liked it. He pulled at the edge of the blanket, so you both sat on. No, he pulled at the edge of the blanket you both sat on and kicked his legs as they hung over the side of the edge. You watched him adoringly until Cove reached over to cradle you in his arms. He was still busting with nervous energy, but being near you took priority. Both of you held on to each other, and the moment of intimacy for a little longer. A few much more chaste kisses were shared as you cuddled along with sweet, praising words. But eventually the time came when you needed to clean up and get dressed before Mr. Holden showed up. Cole made it clear he might honestly, with no exaggeration, drop dead of humiliation if his father saw you naked in bed together. You weren't keen on that happening, so you were willing to let Cove go for now. I don't know what Light Fury and Light Fury is. Now both of you washed up, and then Charlotte slipped into your formerly abandoned clothes, and with that you were presentable. Besides Cove's excessive jumpiness and some not entirely hidden kiss marks, you weren't able to tell at all what he just gotten done doing. That wasn't enough to ease his tension, however. Cole was feeling suffocated, or maybe even overexcited, staying alone together in this room after all that, so you made your way out into a less claustrophobic living room. Silently you sat side by side on the couch. The night stretched on later and later, as you and Cole relished each other's company for as long as possible. The only notion you had of the time passing was when Mr. Holden finally made it home. He greeted you both warmly before heading down to the hall to his own room. Once you were alone once again, Cove turned to speak to you. Cole's mouth was open, ready to speak, but his eyes had drifted up to the clock on the wall. As he frowned, it dawned on you that it was probably time to end your date. Pascal? There was a tremor in his voice. You froze, wondering just how late it had to be to make Cole so nervous. I was kind of wondering if it wouldn't get you in trouble with your parents. Do you want to stay? Not just for another hour or something, but to spend the night here? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yes, absolutely. Really? Would that be okay? No thanks. You nodded, you shook your head. Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't refuse an offer like that. Cole perked right up, excitement already building for a potential sleepover. His smile was lopsided and awkward as his gaze flicked to the hall, where Mr. Holden had disappeared moments before. Dad will probably be up for it. As long as we promise to behave. Well, he bit his lip sheepishly, his eyes nodded to you. It's not like we can be mad with our families. Inevitably, make fun of what we got up to tonight, considering what we've already did. Exactly. Like, would they behave? I don't know. Y'all already went so. You already did some things tonight. You snorted, amused by the irony and the assumption, while your heart felt like it was floating from the joy of your shared secret. We should be able to have a sleepover if we want to. Buoyed by your statement, you nodded. Alright, I'll call my mom. Cove brightened further as you took out your phone. Yes! The word, uttered with such gusto, seemed to echo in the still of the night. Cove realized it too. He cleared his throat shyly, rubbing his knuckles self-consciously along his Adam's apple. You chuckled at the ferocity of his enthusiasm as you listened to the placid ringing of your phone, waiting for it to pick up. You weren't kept waiting long. Hey kiddo, how are things going? Yeah, things are good. I'm over at Cole's house. You paused before getting to the issue that was at the heart of the call. You knew what was coming up. I was hoping if it would be cool if we could stay over if I could stay over tonight. Mom laughed loudly, just as you knew she would. Grimacing, you silently wait for her to get it all out. Cole was watching intently, trying to get a feel for how the conversation was going. At your reaction, he rolled his eyes. He figured out exactly what was happening at the other end of the line. All right. You're adults, and Lonnie will be proud that you asked. Just make sure Clift is comfortable with it and don't cause trouble. Thank you. At your cheery response, Cole's eyebrows rose with cautious optimism. He tilted his head, still monitoring you for a final outcome. Have a good night, both of you. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Mom. Heart racing. You hung up and grimaced at grinned at Cove. As casual as Mom had been, this was a big deal. The first time you consciously decided to sleep over at Cove's and with everyone's approval. Well, it was assumed that your mom and his dad would approve at least. It's okay. Yeah, Mom's fine with it if your dad is. That's great. Cole pulled you into an embrace, his arms crossing at the nape of your neck. His cheek nestled next to yours, skin to skin. His enthusiasm was infectious. You clapped your hands together and joined in his cheering. You should go get some pajamas and your toothbrush and stuff. I will talk to my dad, but he definitely won't say no. Not when you've got permission. He's always kind of looked up to your moms as a parent role models. Yeah, I could believe that. He chuckled sweetly, reminiscent about how Mr. Holden fumbled as best as he could at raising Cove, and you did the same. I noticed, yeah. But yeah, I'll be back soon. You split up, Cove disappearing down the hall to his father as you headed out to grab everything you needed for tonight. Back home, after stopping to the bathroom to collect things, you bumped into Liz. She was very interested to know why you were taking your toothbrush for a walk. After a minute what you were up to, a wicked smirk spread across her face as she gave you some lip over your sleepover. Still, she let you go after only a minute. Neatland? So you felt you got off lightly. You were grateful for the small mercy. By the time you got back to Cove's, you found him waiting near the entryway. He grinned, giving you an okay sign with his hand, and your heart somersaulted again at the confirmation that his dad had agreed for you to stay over. You surmounted the final hurdle. Cove hopped over the bar stool he had been stationed at while waiting for your arrival. Need any help with that? Sure, thanks. Cove helped you organize your belongings into easy-to-access spots in the Holden residence. Taking the change of clothing you packed for tomorrow, the two of you headed down to the hall towards the bathroom in Cole's room. You stepped into the bathroom to get ready for bed, while Cove got changed into his pajamas in his room. When you finished, you went to join Cove in his room. It was already late for the night, a fact that you couldn't help but notice as a yawn escaped from your mouth. Cove took in the sight of you dressed for bed. It wasn't a new look. He had seen it many times before, especially when he dropped in through your window for a surprise visit. And yet he swallowed heavily, blinking rapidly as he smiled at you. The juxtaposition of you, ready to sleep, but in his room rather than your own, clearly had made him emotional in a good way. Aw, Cove. Your read of the situation was confirmed when the words he spoke echoed them exactly. It's really nice that you're going to be staying here with me in my room. You laughed, delighted at just how well you knew him. I had a feeling you might say that. Thank you. I'm happy to. You're taking us a lot better than the last time we spent the night together, you tease. I'm happy too. He continued to watch you as he brushed his knuckles against your cheek. Then he strolled over to bed, taking a seat at the edge. His gaze became trained on the ground, but his expression was content. So, we're gonna share the bed? I don't want you sleeping on the floor. You're the guest. You made progress. Amazing. I'm definitely not gonna sleep on the floor. You nodded shyly. Yeah, you would be the one saying, I want to sleep on the floor. You smiled. His smile formed slowly, as if he were taking care to instruct each facial muscle individually, not wanting the slightest error to break the magic of tonight's spell. You went to sit beside him. It was an action you've taken so many times over the years, but tonight, dressed in your pajamas and intending to sleep in that very bed, it felt completely new. He opened his mouth to speak and then pressed a hand to his forehead. Oh, the light. He hopped up to flip the light off so that you could actually sleep. Then he turned right around to take his seat once more. This time, though, he scooted all the way over to the mattress. Taking the side closest to the wall, he shimmered under the cover. You followed his lead. As your skin met Cove's sheets, the memories of what you had done last time you were in this bed came flooding back. Your heart pounded in your chest as your fingers curled into the fabric, pulling the covers up over you. I spent a lot of time in your bed today. Too bad we can't reenact what we did here last time. You breathed deeply and tried to stay calm. I spent a lot of time in your bed today, sir. A staccato burst of laughter, short and sharp and surrounded by silence, came from Cove. Yeah. You and Cove settled in position on the mattress, each laying your heads on a pillow. You turned to lay on your side, facing towards Cove, and you were pleased to see that he done the same. His face, so close to yours, was soft with open adoration. He whispered to you, "Good night, Pascal." You swallowed. You'd exchanged thousands of goodnight wishes, but almost all of them had been a wish for the future, uttered before you went to your respective homes. It felt different now, knowing that this conversation would be the last thing either of you heard before the next morning came. You hoped your voice wasn't as choked as when you whispered back to him, "Good night, Cove." You ruffled his hair. You pinched his cheek. You nuzzled your nose against his. You smiled at him. Nuzzle. Cove leaned in and rubbed back, the tips of your nose flicking against each other. Oh, you and your boyfriend snuggled deep into the depths of the sheet. Your toes curled as they brushed against the unfamiliar fabric and pressed into a mattress with a firmness different from your own. Each unusual touch acting as a further reminder of where you were. Comfortable and content, Cove let out a happy little sigh. You closed your eyes. Kept talking. I probably keep talking. Cove's eyes were closed. You didn't think he was asleep. Not yet, but you whispered just in case. "Are you asleep?" Laughing, Cove opened one eye to look at you. He whispered back, "No." Do you want to talk?" His other eye flicked open. "Yeah, I like that." Jiffy fell easily into a casual conversation. Other than your surroundings and a low volume that it was conducted in, it was much like any of your other talks. It was soothing. You don't know when you drifted off. It was after midnight when you gone to bed. Dawn had yet to break. Between those 2 points, you found yourself fast asleep in the Holden's home. The next thing you were conscious of was the feeling of a pleasant warmth. You snuggled deeper into the blankets and closer to a confident presence behind you. You were fuzzy, still not all awake yet. You enjoyed the bliss of sleep or contentment for a little bit longer. Light started to come into your closed lids, vague and dreamy. You slowly blinked your eyes open. You saw a beautiful head of pale green hair. Cove was tucked against you, still dozed and looking far too cute for someone drooling on his pillow. There shouldn't have been any way you could squeeze even closer under the arm he had draped over your shoulder. You still made the attempt. You shifted to try to maximize your cuddling. A gentle noise drifted from Cove as he matched your own plans, wrapping his arms around you tighter. I didn't read that. A gentle noise drifted from Cove as he matched your own plans, wrapping his arms around you tighter. He chuckled and gripped his pajama shirt. It was so nice. He lifted his head, and his first sight of the day was your gold eyes. He smiled sweetly, as best as he could, while still groggily yawning. Good morning. Good morning. He only hummed again and softly rested his forehead against yours. His eyes drooped close. He wasn't in a rush this morning. You nuzzled your nose against his. You kissed his forehead. You kissed his cheek. You kissed his nose. You kissed his lips. You smiled. Forehead kiss. You put your weight on your elbow and maneuvered yourself up. When you could reach, you leaned in and placed a kiss on Cole's forehead. He glanced at you and his hand brushed past your face, his thumb touching your forehead right before he kissed you there in a loving mirror of your action. You inhaled the confident citrusy sea scent Cove always had. After another moment, he yawned again, and then everything seemed to hit him at once. His eyes went wide. His cheeks went red. His cheeks went red. Suddenly, he was unable to look at you. With your bodies so close together, you could feel his heartbeat speed up. With a bit of embarrassed air, he tucked his head into your neck. He used you and the pillow to shield himself from, you weren't exactly sure what. His own shyness, maybe. You allowed him to get comfortable and settled yourself in the embrace. You weren't going anywhere. You held him as his heart gradually calmed. A strange sound came from Cove. You realized he was laughing, but the pillow underneath him muffled the sounds. He turned his head so that you could see his face once more. Then Cove ran a hand through his hair. The yellow strands lifted as his fingers brushed over them delicately. I'm glad I'm not working today. He gave you a very deliberate glance. I'd definitely be late. You snorted. Yeah, this is a much more relaxed way to wake up together than the last time we did this. That's good. You quietly nodded. Yeah. Cole's face flipped into a complicated expression as he remembered that particular scene. I'm still embarrassed how your dad called me in here. I'm still laughing how your dad just bust in at the worst time. Wait, hold on. That's not the scene I'm thinking of. Okay, we didn't wake up in his bed like this beforehand. That's good. What scene is this? I know there's some stuff I did not do. I want to go back. When this is over, I'm going to go back to the full game. And there's some CGs I did not get. So I was going to show y'all. I don't think I chose a choice where I would sleep in his room. Will not stop teasing me for catching you sneaking over. Okay, so trying to think. Maybe it was the scene when he came over to our house and then he fell asleep in our bed. Maybe it's that scene. And could it have been when I went over to I could have snuck over to his house and slept in his bed. I don't know. I have to see. I have to see which scene are they referencing. I have to see. I'll just say I'm good. Yes, I could stay like this for hours. He continued touching you and smiled like he was lucky. Cove flopped onto his back, still warm at your side. He stretched his arms up and pressed his hands against the top of his bunk. With the palms flat above him, he looked at you from the corner of his eyes. Is there anything you want to have for breakfast? You considered it. You hadn't thought of the food yet this morning. Cove continued blithely, his gaze trailing up as he kept stretching. I want orange juice. Oh, my dad got these muffins yesterday that are amazing. They're these vegan oat cinnamon apple muffins. You can warm them up really well. I eat mine with peanut butter and fruit too. I want juice too. Fruit is always a good choice. Let's have some fruit. True. I've never run into an evil fruit. And juice. I thought you might. And I'll see what else you have to. Cove nodded as he made a little grunt of acknowledgement. His eyes reluctantly looked at the side of his bunk. Despite his desire for breakfast, you could tell he hadn't committed to leaving the bed yet. He was still buried in the covers. You reached over and held him next to you. You nudged him forward. You laughed at the struggle. You shook your head. You drew him in and trapped him in your arms. You even less ready to let this in. He wiggled in your grasp until he had rolled enough to your face you would a grin. He leaned forward and gave you a little kiss with a smile. He snuggled against you, wrapping his own arms around you. He laid his head on your shoulder, and you tangled your legs together. You were pleased he was staying with you. The two of you held each other, just breathing each other in. At last, Cove let out a satisfied sigh and let go. I can get up now. Let's eat. Even though you were a little colder as he sat up, moved past you, and then dangled his feet off the bed, you snorted amusedly. I'm doing a lot of snorting. That's my favorite mode of laughing, is a snort. You might be the first priority, but food was still high up there on his list of things that mattered. I mean, I don't blame him. You laughed and followed him out of the room, listening to many reasons why orange juice was an absolute necessity this morning. You both made your way to the living room. It was strangely quiet. Where's your dad? Probably left for work. Too bad for him. He faced you with a wide grin and a snicker. With the two of you having a full run of the house, Cole went over to the cupboards and started making a collection on the counter. He bustled around, opening this and that, pulling anything that looked appealing. He warmed a few muffins and washed some fruit and berries. After rinsing some strawberries, he held one out to you. You grabbed it and popped it into your mouth. You leaned over and grabbed it with your mouth. You waved it off. Cole hadn't expected your strawberry acquisition method and suddenly found the flow extremely interesting. Cove. You bit into the strawberry and juice began dripping down your chin. Despite its deep red color, you hadn't realized how ripe and juicy the small fruit really was. You tried to salvage this and eat it suavely, but weren't really sure how well you put it off. Luckily, Cove wasn't a tough enough audience and didn't seem to notice you desperately trying not to make a mess. You continued to watch Cove's preparation, all the while on the lookout for anything that seemed delicious to you. Once you had a sense of the options and you had what you wanted, you joined in the breakfast prep and helped you get your own meal ready. Cove turned the kettle on as the two of you shuffled around together. It didn't take long for you to start putting plates and glasses on the kitchen island, ready to start digging in. You sat side by side on the bar stools. It did not escape you that there was, in fact, a proper dining table that you could have used, but Cove preferred eating there. You couldn't blame him. The island was far cozier. Cove took a long, drawn-out gulp of orange juice. He smiled content, juice craving for the day satisfied. Then he dug into his muffin, taking a large bite that contained an apple chunk and a huge helping of peanut butter. He happily shimmied in his chair as he chewed. It must be especially tasty. Now, you know one thing that I cannot stand though? Is peanut butter. I do not like the smell of peanut butter. Like, I would not tell someone they can't eat peanut butter in front of me, but he was asking if I'm comfortable with him cussing. I'm not comfortable with you eating peanut butter in my presence. The smell is so bad. It does not smell good. You smiled affectionately at his enjoyment as you tried your own delicious food. Cole finally swallowed and chased it down with another sip of juice. This is great. Not the muffin. Well, the muffin is. The muffin is good, but I'm trying to say all of this is. He gestured at you with a wide circular motion. Everything, it's really nice. You understood the sentiment. When you had been on that date last night, you usually would have had to end. You would have needed to part at least for a time. Even if sometimes you snuck back together. Last night was the first time you had gone to be together the entire time. You got to hold on to Cove and had to let go. Cove huffed to himself in a joking, indignant way. Honestly, our parents should just let him have more sleepovers. We've been deprived and denied so much joy. What happened last night is probably exactly why they stopped us having sleepovers. You're completely right. It's the crime that made us miss out. You chuckled at Cole's tantrum. This is true, though. You waggled your eyebrows for the added effect. Pascal! Cole smiled so dramatically you were glad that he had set his juice down before you said that. You laughed freely. Then Cole cleared his throat. His voice, raised in pitch, catching your attention. I just want to let you know that when I've moved into my apartment, you can spend the night whenever you want to, and as often as you want to. You're always welcome, is what I'm saying. When you're in town visiting anyways, it's not like anyone will be able to tell us what to do. His jovial tone became shaky as he continued. The apples of his cheeks started to turn the slightest shade of pink. You could even stay like the entire time you're here. Wait, are you asking me if you want to move in together? Cole stiffened, obviously stalled by overthinking everything. Maybe? He squeaked. Maybe? He squeaked, his voice strained, and then smiled at himself for his own wishy-washiness. No, I really mean yeah. I'm asking you if you want to live together sometime, when it might work out. I always want to be with you, it's not a secret. He laughed at himself for his difficulties being forward before he rubbed at one of his eyes with the palm of his hand. He directed an adorable smile your own way. I'm in love with you. And if you think you can deal with that all the time, then could we live together someday? I love who you are too. Of course I want to move in together. Yes. I'm not sure when that will be possible, but someday it will be nice. He nodded eagerly. I have to see how things go. Only if you can manage dealing with me being like I am. Well, considering the fact that in our playthrough, we did not live together during the interim period before he proposed to us, this makes the most sense. Someday. He nodded with a smile. His voice was soft, and he leaned in closer. Thank you for being there yesterday and for being here today. And because you're going to be here tomorrow, too. Thank you. You're welcome. You never have to thank me for that. I'm grateful I got the chance to be with you. You shot him an understanding look. I'm just grateful. His answering grin struck you with a lovely sense of fulfillment. The two of you were growing up. But for all the worries that it brought, right now it had made your life and relationship richer. You couldn't wait to have new days and experience new things with Cove. Every potential moment you would have together looked more appealing than ever before. It was beautiful because you didn't have to ask Cove to know if he felt the same way. He proved it was mutual with everything he did. Neither of you needed anything more than that. And that is the end of this bonus content. And I enjoyed that. You know, I enjoyed it. Even with all the spiciness that happened, I still enjoyed it. And I was looking at the Reddit to see how people were saying. Obviously, the people who were saying they enjoyed it as well. But some people were saying that they felt it was lacking. There was just some people. Some people were saying that felt it was lacking. They felt like it was dry, or they didn't feel like he wanted to do it. But like what someone was commenting underneath those people who were saying that, I feel like it reflects. I think it reflects one, Cove's person, like one as someone who's this is his first time ever engaged in an activity like this before, his first time, and being the introverted, shy guy he is, as a autistic demisexual person. Like, this fits how he would probably relate to such a situation, you know? So I felt like it was natural, and I didn't feel like it was even when we got to the juicy stuff. You know, I felt like that was maybe because maybe it's me. Maybe I feel like, wow, that was pretty like that was pretty heated. Maybe that's just me. Maybe because that's my tolerance is like, you know. Maybe I felt that was heated, and some people didn't think it was heated enough. But anyway, I enjoyed that. That was cute. So I'm going to open up the step 4 build. Like I said earlier, it's not finished. So I think they have not done the 18 plus content yet. I think that's what the post said, that it hasn't gone to that point yet. So I was saying that maybe next time we play through this game again with Cove, it would be ready for a full, you know, for the full thing. But let's get started with this one. Welcome to the second Odd Life beginning and always 18 plus Patreon moment. Thank you for supporting GP Patch Games. Before we get to the moment itself, we've got a quick info prologue. In the future, you'll be able to load a save file from the main game, to automatically have all the info on your life in this event. For this very early beta, you need to fill in your details yourself by going through a questionnaire. I hope you have fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and quickly fill in all of the necessary details. Excuse me. Let me go back this way. Oh, this is okay. So I'm kind of nervous to do this one though. I did see someone upload the full finished Patreon, obviously censored version on YouTube, and it seems fine. I was like, okay, I could do that. But this one's a beta build of the Patreon, the second Patreon bonus. So I don't know if I'm not completely sure if the beta build is like, are they like, if they come at me and say, hey, can you cut that out? I'll cut it out. So it's like, I don't know. Since it is a beta build, it's not completely finished. So if they come back, I'll just have to cut to the end of the I'll cut this section out of the stream. Okay, I think that's it. Hold on. I have no idea why I did that. I just want to make sure I had everything right. Okay. There we go. Nose ring. I do have nose ring. And wait. There we go. Okay. Now I'm done. Okay, both. So, this was his hair. He has no glasses. He had this shirt. He had on this. Let me just open it up. Hold on, I'm about to open up my stream so I can see. I can't really see. Hold on. If I can go back to that one CG. Okay, that looks like the right one, I think. The right bracelet. I'm trying to recreate everything exactly how it was before. Yeah, that's the right bracelet. Okay. Oh, he also had a necklace too. Okay, so he had this necklace. Okay, what else did he have? He had an earring as well. And then that's it. Okay. Next page. Or done, I mean. Okay, now let me read the description that they gave him at the beginning of this. Okay, so it says his personality had changed, becoming more open than ever before. Cove was a warm, inviting, considerate man who took lessons he learned over the years to treat people around him with patience and understanding. So, he is very warm right now. So, and we'll say he's mixed. Studious and sporty. I don't really see anything about that, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. Your height is tall, slender, flat. I played all 10 moments because I'm that type of person. I played all 10. All 10. Indifferent, fawn, crush. Oh, there could have been a confession at a charity event. I think I sensed that there could have been a confession if I let it happen at that point, but it didn't happen. He confessed at the end of step 3. He could also have confessed at the start of step 4 or confessed in his underwear near the end of step 4. That would have been cute too. I kind of want to see how that's like, but he confessed at the end of step 3. Your interest level for the interest level for the event is low by default. But what's your comfort level? Relax. Initiative level medium. Were you already married? Only having a ceremony, or did you just get married? We were just married. What did you do for your last names? I kept my last name and Cove kept his. What did you wear during the wedding? A romper. Did you have any accessories on for the wedding? Side note, if you didn't wear an anklet for the wedding itself, it's possible to put one on, especially for this after wedding moment. I had on earrings, a necklace. I got a shawl. I don't remember. And I think that's everything. Next, you'll be able to pick Cole's wedding outfit. Okay, let me go back so I can see again. Okay, so he had on a white jacket and white pants, and he wasn't wearing a tie. He had normal hair. What's a corsage? Oh, he did have that, yeah. He had a corsage as well. Okay, done. Did you have wedding rings? Yes. What was the base color of your rings? It was gold. What was the shape? It was a jewel band. The stones were diamonds. Did you or Cove have a bouquet? Yes, we both did. What title did you have in the wedding? Groom. Did you spend the night before the wedding with Cove or apart? We stayed physically apart, but we talked over the phone. What location was the ceremony held at? The Popper Field. Next, you can choose a reception location. It was the aquarium. These all look so beautiful. Oh my gosh. These all look so nice, but it was the aquarium. Done. Did you want to have one or more kids with Cove? Yes. Through, I think we said adoption. That's what it was. Did you experience Baxter impreg though? Like, can we have impreg? Can we do that? Did you experience Baxter's optional moment as a young adult? No. Did we? No, we didn't. Did Shallow, Leon, or Jeremy attend your wedding? Both Jeremy and Shallow. What kind of appearance did Shallow grow up to have in your story? He had brunette, purple hat with ponytail. Are you going on a honeymoon with Cove? Yes. Did you want sexual content to occur? Automatically skip past those parts. Moments also include switches which should be hidden. If sexual content is on, you'll be able to decide how far you go and what to stop during the scene. You won't be forced to participate. If the sexual content is off, there are no explicit romance. There are non-explicit romance to enjoy, but the event will be much shorter overall if you skip that. I think it said they don't have that in this build yet, but I'll just press the same thing. Next, you will be determined what underwear you have underneath your wedding clothes. It will be possible to change the lingerie later in the event if you didn't start with it. The underwear you had on top of the wedding was none. Bottom was boxer briefs, underwear, plain, and did you have, and did the step 3 Patreon bonus moment happen as a part of your current story or Cove? Yes, since we just did it. Lastly, here's a brief explanation on how the mature content works. It's possible to initiate the romantic sexual encounter immediately on arrival to the hotel room, since some players want to start as soon as possible. But that's not the only chance to do it. Unlike the step 3 bonus moment where you worked your way up to the counter at a single pace, there's more flexibility here. The event has multiple points where you can move into getting intimate. It's only once you've gone into pajamas and decide to go to sleep that it's no longer possible. Even if mature content is turned on, you will never be forced to anything and to actually do anything at any point in the story. So you can go ahead and enjoy your night with Cove at whatever progression rate you prefer. And that's everything for the prologue. You can now get into the event itself. Thanks for playing. Okay, so we start the reception. Gentle lights and sounds swam in circles through your consciousness. You are miles away from your body. Only the pleasantest, warmest of tangles could be sensed. Exhaustion and reaching new heights of bliss had zoned you flat out. For how long? You had no clue. But realizing that you were a human being alive in the real world ended the trance. Awareness of the physical self in the present moment washed over you as if the word was coming into focus after a long dream. The music had been turned down low, its purpose no longer for dancing. The final spin was spun. The open floor was no longer filled with celebrating guests. Notes played on only as background ambiance to the conclusion of the event. A few attendees had already left, but most were waiting to see the couple of the day off. They milled about, making polite conversation, enjoying last-minute free drinks. Meanwhile, 3 mothers and 1 father of the 2 grooms were busy packing up the wedding gifts, ceremony memorabilia, and leftover cake for safekeeping. That would be stored temporarily in the 2 houses across the street from each other that you and your husband had grown up in. After your honeymoon, and once your life settled into a more normal rhythm again, it will be moved into the home you shared with Cove. You notice all of those things and one more. From the side, your ears picked up on an instantly recognizable sniffle. You only had to glance out of the corner of your eye to see your husband right by your side. The scene of detail-oriented destruction was an emotional experience for your beloved Cove. What many things were, this did have a unique kind of impact. Everything you arranged together over almost dozens of meetings and untold hours of effort was being trimmed to some trinkets and desserts in tightly sealed boxes. Quietly he began to speak. Cove didn't even need to look to know that you'd hear him. Okay. I can't believe it's over. How can they just be taking this down? It's our wedding. In a matter of words, he evolved from wistful to outright pouty about it. It was incredible while it lasted. Other people need the aquarium, Cove. I know, this is a historical monument. I'm glad to let it in. This is a good point. You chuckled adoringly and shook your head. Having it in hurt your heart too. Yeah, it's sad. Cove stared at you, becoming far more distraught over this than what had previously been bothering him. Then he managed to smile. It was beautiful and well missed. Somehow the minutes it hadn't been there felt like months, maybe years. Cove paired that with an equally long for experience. He held your hand tight and secure. The only things that make leaving this place okay is that we get to go before it's completely gone, and now we're leaving together. I'm not grown up enough to do the whole not seeing your spouse for a day because of tradition thing again. He faced you directly, and his grin taking on a decidedly playful being. Tonight's gonna be nice. Do people usually leave the spouse after they get married? I thought people usually consummate their marriage the night of the wedding. Cole's fingers curled around yours a bit more, and his voice dropped to a whisper. It'd be really nice. A blip of electricity shot right through you. The aching in your heart was not from the sadness any longer. Then the person who helped you make the whole event possible reached once more, like it for the last time. Good evening. Baxter's usual amusement could be seen in his features, though there was tiredness framed from prim edges. Well, good is an understatement, but the point stands. Hi, and yeah. Hey. You've never seen a wedding before? I've been to a couple weddings. I've been to a couple. In my lifetime. Which hasn't been that long. But yeah, I've been to a couple. Wow. But yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of people separating after the wedding. I don't think I've ever heard that. I think I've just heard before. And then you're supposed to consummate your marriage the night of. It's nearly the moment of departure now. The car that's taking you back to the hotel will be coming around soon. That's what I came to speak to you about. You'll be able to stay in the same room you had before, Pascal. My dad had moved my stuff in there already after we were done getting dressed for today. That's good. Of course, you don't need to worry about anything here. I'll oversee the cleanup and make certain nothing's missed or damaged for the matter. I can keep a staff on a leash, tight leash, you see. Okay. Ghost stumbled for a reply to those strong words initially, but his emotions easily got the better of him again. Thanks again, Baxter. So much. I'm never gonna forget today. We can never thank you enough. I bet you're a popular boss. He left you speechless. I know you didn't miss a thing when we worked together. You offered a sincere smile. I can never thank you enough, Baxter. Honestly, it was my pleasure. But you're welcome. Do you have everything? If not, I'll fetch it for you in 2 shakes. I do have that special request already prepared for you, Cove. That put a sparkle in Cove's eyes. Great, I appreciate it. He didn't give any hint on what it was actually. He didn't give any hint on what it actually was with that response. Was it that on purpose? Was it a surprise? You knew you given Baxter your own special request. You hadn't thought of anything. I mean, I don't know. Special request? Okay. To prepare a separate box of cake to bring to the hotel. To find the photographer guest who took photos and videos and send you those. To pass around a guest book you brought for friends and family to sign. Well, I want cake. So, otherwise, it'd all go to your parents' freezers. You had to wonder if Cove also asked for cake. That'd be in character for the man. There might be a lot of slices to go around, not that Cove would complain if it did end up being the case. Pascal, your wishes have been taken care of as well. It was Cove's turn to be left in suspense. You couldn't wait to share what you had in store. Anything else? Your planner gave a polite prompt. He noticed how distracted the special request revelations made to both of you. No, I've got everything I needed. Pointedly, you looked at Cove. So do I, he chirped in response. The two of you acting like the lovebirds Max had pegged you as from the beginning. Excellent. Now I apologize, but I shouldn't be gone for too long. Yeah, bye, Baxter. Baxter was leaving. Something no amount of distraction could make you forget the surrealness of the circumstances with Mr. Ward. How the eccentric tourist you met 5 years ago came to have such an important hand in the biggest event of your life. Thank you for being a part of the wedding. Max inclined his head and you let him go. He was soon out of sight, yet his voice continued to reach you. Max had gone straight to the mic to declare the imminent departure of the guests of honor. All the remaining guests were encouraged to gather on the former dance floor to see you and Cove off. As he said it, so what happened? Your family and your friends gathered together for one last hurrah. Even Charlotte was mixing with the others. He fully committed to being an attendee of this event. Then the same car that had carried you to the ceremony was so long ago. Then the same car that carried you to the ceremony so long ago was ready to take you away. You simply had to go and meet it. A brief walk got to where it was parked outside the reception area. Some people followed you past the end of the party, the core group, the people who had the biggest role during the course of events. Mom, Ma, Mr. Holden, Kara, Liz, Lee, Miranda, Terry, and Derek. A lot of them were so easily shaken. They were cheering you on until you couldn't hear their applause any longer. Bye, sweeties. We love ya. She's right. We do. And you knocked this wedding out of the park. Today was beautiful, babies. And we've got a cover from here on out. You go relax. I have to say, this is numbered in the top 5 weddings I've attended. Congrats. Liz, that spot better be number 1. You two are amazing. Have a safe drive. Have a fun night. Get some rest too. You better take care of each other. Your driver exited the vehicle to open the back door for you and Cove. They just said go ahead. With freshly misted eyes, Cove called to his friends and family. Thanks for coming by, everybody. None of this would have been the same without you. Bye. We love ya. Yeah, we're so lucky to have you. Goodbye. Make sure you take breaks too. Bye. Thank you, California. You've been a great audience. You waved as wide as you could. We love you. On that note, you and Cove slipped into the back seat together. The driver closed the door before returning to their own seat up front. The car began to move. You both twisted on the shiny cushions to watch out the window. It was narrow, but you couldn't make out what was going on. Lee, Miranda, Derek jumped repeatedly. That couldn't have been easy in dresses and heels for the first two. It was no sweat for Derek. Tara waved both arms. Your moms tearfully dabbed at their eyes. Liz patted their shoulders supportively, while keeping her eyes locked on the retreating vehicle. Kara had her phone out, taking photos of Vidya. You couldn't be sure. Cliff was trying not to block her view while taking steps to follow the car. It was such a wonderful moment. Another to add to the ever-growing pile of scenes you hold near and dear always. The gathering got further and further away. Clear details became vague outlines until the driver rounded the corner, and that sealed it. There was none left to see. It was truly over. At least the reception was. Life hadn't ended there, and neither had your joy. Stars were filling the sky. Your wedding day had become your wedding night. You were sure that would bring plenty more memories to cherish. The green-haired groom gave up on looking at the empty road behind him and turned his body to be sitting properly. He stretched his legs as far as it could go, which wasn't very much in the compact cabin. Okay. He slumped against the seat. The stress, the nerves, the wild imagination of endless ways the day could have been ruined, released from his slack limbs. Cove closed his eyes for a brief minute of rest. You done it. He took that fact all in with a deep breath. Then he sprang into action once more, newly invigorated. Cove cast his gaze about the cabin, glancing across the cushions and under the front seats. You did the same. Baxter promised your goods were ready for you. Since he hadn't put in your hands, it must be there. That belief was swiftly vindicated. On the floor were 2 simple takeout boxes. They both had prim, swirling handwriting across the top. It was as elegant as a wedding invitation letter. Cole gingerly picked both up. He held out yours, and you accepted it from him gracefully. He sat at the small box in his grasp, so gleefully. What's in there? Do you mind telling me? Did you ask him okay, Cove? It was nice of Baxter to help out so much. You sat there quietly, impatiently. This was gonna be good. Did you ask for more cake? Huh? No. Cole blinked his salsa-wide eyes at you. I could have done that. I should have done that. That's a good idea. Now who knows when we'll get to have more? You struggled against the grin, desperate to take over your face. You tightened your grip on the hefty takeout container. Looks like it was a good thing you had remembered. Still, even if you didn't guess it on the first try, the contents of that surprise request weren't going to shock you. It was easily driven by a stomach and love of the sea, but above all else, Cole was moved by sentimentality. Cole unfolded the flaps, making up the box lid. You leaned in close to see. Inside was a pile of delicate white flowers. His voice was even more fragile than the petals. They're from the ceremony, the ark where we said our vows. I wasn't going to stop to tear out a handful at a time, but I knew I was going to want them. So yesterday, I asked Baxter if he could save some and put them aside for us. Cove kept his eyes downward, unable to face you. The dust and the pink on his cheeks made it impossible to hide his bashfulness. Aww. It was kind of silly. I know Baxter wasn't going to throw them in the shredder after the day was over. We get to keep them either way. Right? He's just like me. He's just like me for real. Always loves some good food. Me too. But still, I wanted something to come with us. It was a small part of our wedding that we could hold on to. It didn't all have to be left behind right now. The box was left in his lap, so Cove could gather the flowers by the thin stems in both hands. Also, I should greet you, Luke, by the way. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a good day today. He lifted the little bouquet and held it between you and him. Cove's eyes were red from many hours of effort and many more tears shed, but his bright blue irises were as clear as ever. I love you, Pascal Whitlock. Thank you, Cove. I love you too. Cove's smile wobbled. The flowers trembled in his fingers. You kissed your soft-hearted husband gently. You had to smooch your precious husband. You embraced your husband. You caressed his adorable face. You smiled at him, absolutely adoringly. You had to kiss him. Moving in closer, flowers brushed against your chest. The sweet scent of your wedding flowers perfumed the air. You brought your lips to his tightly. He kissed you again after. Third and fourth tiny kisses were shared between you. The display of affection emboldened you to share your surprise. You hoped to delight him the way he had done for you. Cove? Alright, this is what I got. Oh, nice. I hope you enjoyed the first part of the stream. You open the gift box to show all full hearty slices. Baxter had gotten a nice chunk of your wedding cake in there. It's for us to share. It's all for you. I mean, we have to share a cake. As much as I love Cove, he don't get to eat cake all by himself. You brought the cake? I did. I figured that'd be a wise call. Obviously, it was easy to guess you'd be happy about more dessert. Yeah, it's not as meaningful as yours. You're so easy to please. And you were just wishing you had some cake. How lucky for you. You giggled at this cute reaction. I did. It was. The confection left Cove touched. He made a new vow to you. I'm gonna eat all of it. Except for whatever you want to eat, I mean. Have as much as you want, Cove. I definitely will. Thank you, Pascal. Past Cove, you caught a glimpse of lights flashing by through the opposite side window. They were gone in an instant. You had no idea what was outside or where you where you were in the trip at that point. You could be almost there, or you might have to stay put for another 30 minutes. It was a mystery. This is a little late, but you did great catching yourself before fainting during the ceremony. Hey, remember that night Kara drove us around on that crazy ride? You watched your husband wondering what he might be thinking about. I'm gonna choose this one. I know you didn't mean that as a joke, but it's kind of embarrassing to be reminded of. Sour Cove. Don't be, you're telling the truth. I did do great. That's right. Hey, remember? She took us all around town. Of course I remember that. He gave a wry smile. I say it was maybe 1% as eventful as today was. But after our big adventure to the edge of our tiny town, we were just like this, huh? Together in the back seat in the dark with the driver pretending they are not here so we can talk privately. Hopefully I don't fall asleep this time. It's okay if you need to sleep. Me too. I don't want to miss anything for sleep. I've always wondered, who brought me to my room? Well, I'm impressed. I'd be impressed if you don't nod off early. You never stay up. You yawned at the mere mention of sleep. You smiled understandingly. It will be alright whatever happened. Who brought me to my room? I don't remember getting out of the car. I woke up in my own bed. I can't tell you, sorry. Somebody had to bring me to bed too because I was totally out. And, you know, even if I was awake, I'd have been way too nervous to try picking you up. Excuse me? While you were sleeping. I wish it was me at least. Especially now. If I knew for sure that one day you were gonna marry me, wow. That would have made a lot of things a lot easier. Cole giggled as he pulled his limbs in closer, making them seem smaller. Maybe. I'm not sure I would have been able to believe it, even with undeniable proof. That's alright. Everything worked out in the end. You don't have to do things differently. Thanks, Pascal. And oh, hey wait. That was a day with a sun shower too. I'll give it an extra percent of excitingness for that. You both laughed in. What a generous rating. You watched your husband wondering what he might be thinking about. Cole's features softened then. He gazed over the white flowers still in his hands as though it was the first time. I can't believe we're just sitting here, having a conversation after our wedding. We're married now. I knew that once it was over, we have to go back to the hotel room and we'd need to get ready to leave on our honeymoon. But where we'd be going and why weren't important to me. I wanted to know what it'd be like staying in the same space as you, someone I've known almost my entire life after promising to spend the rest of my life with him. With he? With? That doesn't seem grammatical, wait. Someone I've known almost my entire life after promising to spend the rest of my life with him. I think him is the right word. I tried to imagine that. I did too. What was it like you're imagining? That's so like you. You nodded and listened closely. What was that like? Exactly this. How I'd be telling you that it's unreal that we're married and I can't believe we're having a conversation and we're mostly alone together after being married. And you'd smile or laugh at the awkward things I'd say about that. Cole's level of self-awareness over his own emotional quirks was a quality of his you seen developed live and in person over many years, and it was one you were entirely charmed by. Though I wasn't able to really grasp how it'd feel. Now I do. It's really good. Not an intense, mind racing kind of way. It's more like things are the way they should be, but to a level I've never reached before. A complete contentment. What about you? Is our after wedding experience what you'd expected? At least so far? Exactly as he'd foreseen, you smiled at his adorable ramblings. It is. I'm grateful that this is what being married to is like. White flowers almost went scattering across the seats when Cove instinctively wiped at his rapidly dampening eyes. I'm glad too. He smiled shakily, and you could not have possibly been happier to be with your wonderful, weepy husband. The ride continued smoothly on. So much so you became entirely unaware of the fact that you were in a moving vehicle. You and Cole simply whispered sweet words to one another, close enough for your foreheads to touch. Safe in your own little world, spanning one car cabin width wide. Until the driver came to a full stop. One that was different than the typical red light of stop sign. They opened the door. The seal was broken. You'd arrived at the hotel. Oh! The summer night air drifted into space. Gradually, the two of you reacclimated to being on the ground level after spending an entire day in the clouds. We're here. A moment before, neither person bundled in the bag wanted to be anywhere else. Now Cole was more than eager to move the party of two to a new venue. The simple suite awaiting you would have been a very temporary abode. Tomorrow you'll be leaving on your honeymoon. I love to go abroad. Yeah. Cole reached across you and opened the door for you both. He was met with an outstretched hand of the driver. Sorry, he mumbled shyly, shrinking deeper into the car. I forgot about that. The driver was understanding. They might have been anticipating this possibility. They were good at their job, and part of that was to be unobtrusively in the background as possible. They stepped aside, and you and your husband exited one after the other. Cole was more careful of his bouquet when climbing out. No harm was done there. He made sure not to leave the cake behind in your haste. That'd be a disaster. And luckily no suitcases were to be juggled. Your stuff was already in the room from the equally dreamlike experience that was the night before the wedding. Thank you. Thanks for all this. With a tip of their black cap, the driver re-entered the car. You never even learned their name, but the stranger was returning to an entire existence of their own. You hoped it was a happy one. Hand in hand, Cove and you entered the hotel. The life you shared together was moving rapidly ahead with each step. There was no need to check in again either, so you could go straight up to your room. The fewer obstacles between you and the end of the destination, the better. After a brief ride up an elevator and speed walk down the hall, you came to stand in front of the same hotel room you left that morning. Also, let me check something right quick. This looks like the same hotel that's in XOXO Droplets, if my eyes don't deceive me. This is the same hotel. It's the same exact hotel. So this must be the same. This must be the hotel that the XOXO Droplets cast, like Shiloh and them, that they were staying in while they had their little trip. After a brief ride up the elevator and the speed walk down the hall, you came to stand in front of the. Oh, yeah, I read that already. Cove didn't move to open that door. Not yet. He sheepishly broached a new topic of conversation. So, there's that last wedding tradition thing, carrying over the threshold. We could do that. It's not our house, but that doesn't matter, right? If you want to do it, that's what counts. Yeah, I was like, this is a very distinctive yellow color that I remember seeing in the XOXO Droplets field trip, like that little, like, you know, the field trip scene. And yeah, I'm like, this looks familiar. Cole's knees were shaking, having to carry his own weight on his feet. It had been most physically and emotionally exhausting day of his life. You could know that you could know that definitely because you've been there for most of those days. There have been countless painful struggles and incredible joys over the years. Your wedding was the culmination of it all. Every single thing you had gone through together was distilled into 24 hours of effort and affection. I like that. You can carry me. I like that. You can give me a piggyback ride. That'll be good. I can carry you. That'll be good. I can give you a piggyback ride. Will you be alright? You wanna be uncomfortable? I think we should walk through like normal. Okay, let's spoil Cove a little bit. I feel like he's done a lot of things for me. I wanna carry him now. Does he not want to be carried? You don't have to be carried if you don't want to. Cove glanced at himself, at the door, and then at you. He was hesitating. I can do it. It'll only be a few steps, and I'm tall, so I can carry you. All right, I believe in you. Thank you. That was all the inspiration you needed to summon the last of your strength. You internally vowed not to let your husband figuratively and literally down. Cove fished out a cot key and opened the door wide. It awaited the two grooms. Then he gripped the wedding flowers intently, ready for you. Having those certainly added to the effect of the tradition. 1 second. You decide to leave the cake on the ground for this. It'd be a bit too risky to balance it along with your 6'4" husband. He's 6'4". He's only like two inches taller than I am. 2 inches. I can carry you. Good idea. You got that out of the way and remained crouched down so Cove could climb aboard. Two of you settled into one another, then you stood lifting Cove off the ground. Cove had to tuck his head and legs in just to hope it fit through the door. He decided to go at it at an angle rather than straight forward. He tilted his cheek into your head, nuzzling you affectionately. Oh, while you both snickered over the minor hiccup of the proceedings. I'm ready when you are. Cove held his breath. Maybe out of nerves, or maybe because he thought the extra air could make him lighter. He was a heavy man, regardless of how strong a person was. And you weren't especially beefy. But he could be 10 feet tall, you still want to do this. Your steps were unsteady but full of pride. And you carried your husband over the threshold. You're amazing, so he said, but you nearly collapsed into a heap when you lowered yourself to let Cove down. He dropped his feet to the floor, early to help support you. Still, you arrived in one piece. You let Cove down with grace, You let Cove down with grace, pleased as could be that you could still impress him after so many years. Afterward, you had to immediately backtrack to get your special request. You closed the door on your second crossing of the threshold. The cake box went to the mini fridge that came with the room. The first thing Cove did after inhaling was find a place to put the flowers for safekeeping. Along the way, he closed the door. And that's all for this beta. Hope you enjoyed seeing Cove again. I did enjoy seeing Cove again. So yeah, we had 3 hours. So we got a decent amount of new Cove content to end this first playthrough of our life. And I can't wait to see how the rest of this finishes later on. Now it's really over. Now it's really truly over with the story that we've created. That was nice. And now, before I forget, let me open up the actual full game. So, to show you what I was talking about earlier. Okay, gallery. So yeah, we got both of the base CGs. Cove as cute as he wanna be. Just cute anyhow as a little kid. And then one DLC CG. But we have this one. Now I've seen it on Google. So I know what it is. I think it's him. I think he's like upset and Mr. Holden is with him in that CG. But we didn't get that scene when we played through. So I had to figure out how we have to get that scene next time we play. And then step 2, we have 2 different scenes that we didn't miss. Now there's one CG I was hoping to get. There was this one CG I always see on Patreon. It was a CG of Cove from no, this step. Which step is it? Is it step 3 or step 4? Maybe it's from step 3, but we missing all. No, we not. Okay, so step 2 because I have all the step 3 sprites. I mean CGs. So step 2, there's a Cove. There's a sprite of Cove, not sprite of Cove, CG of Cove with his hands covered, hiding behind a wall as if he's seen something he's not supposed to see. So it's like, what did he see? I've been like in suspense ever since I saw that scene and I didn't get it. So yeah, I wouldn't mind knowing how to get the extra CGs. Yeah, you could tell me if you know. And then I'll just keep that in mind next time I play the game. And then yeah, all the CGs for step 3 are here. All the CGs for step 4 are here as well. And we have one Baxter CG and then one Derek CG and one Baxter CG. But yeah. I think I have to change. Yeah. I have to change my Cove back to the way he looked beforehand. I don't remember the shorts that he had, but I think he looked like that. And I think he had that. That's how he looked like in our step 2. And then step 3, change his hair back. That's how he looked. There you go. So I can see the CGs again. I love this one. This is so cute. He could have confessed to us at this point. So maybe we could try that again and have a confession at that point. And then this one, cute. And then step 4, he didn't have glasses. He also has a necklace and earrings. There you go. This is one of my favorite CGs. He looks so handsome with the CG. I love it so much. Also, you need to tell him about the deal in step 1, and then step 2, and then the second missing CG is when you smooch him at the end of summer. Okay, I'm gonna save that and put it in my notepad so I can have that for future reference. Okay. Well, yeah, I love the CG. It looks so good. And apparently we could have confessed to him at the car as well based on the questions that we just had. So I'm curious about that. Okay. Well, yeah. So thank you for that, Luke. I'm going to keep that in mind so I can get that next time I play. But yeah. We're going to be playing a new game in the meantime so I can kind of like refresh my memory of the game so I can come back to it and like, you know, reinvigorate the feels. So I'm gonna play a different game in the meantime on Fridays, and I have to see what that is. And I'm supposed to play a new game on Sunday as well, but also I still haven't determined what that game is. So I want to do it right quick. I want to see which game I want to play so I can have it spoken on stream, so to get some expectation. I think one of the games I wanted to play was, what was it called? The Casebook of Ane, I think that's what it was. The Casebook of Ane is like a JRPG game, and it's about a vampire. Yeah, so that's what we might play on Sunday. I'm just saying out there so I could have something just out there in the atmosphere to be like, okay, we're gonna play that game. But maybe I might change it on the day of. But Casebook of Ane, it seems to have good reviews on Steam, and it looks interesting. So yeah, it's like, so the summary goes: a vampire and a girl. Who are they? Two of them have a secret and solve a strange case in a world where paranormal activity takes place. Player solves a case in which a non-human becomes a suspect. Such a detective adventures coming to Steam. So yeah, that'll probably replace the game on Sunday, and I have to see which game is gonna replace this game on Friday. But yeah, I want to thank all y'all very kindly for coming. Oh, also no, I have not checked out the Our Life 2 beta. I haven't checked it out yet. I was wondering, so I'm in the Patreon right now for the rest of this month. I hate the fact that Patreon allows you to you can Patreon, you sign up, but if you sign up at the end of the month, you have to pay again at the first of the next month, which is like, ugh. But no, I haven't checked out the beta or the demo of the game at all. I was thinking whether I should play the demo on stream or not. Is that something that you guys will want to see, me play the demo on stream? If it is something that you want to see, I'll do it. I've seen updates of the sprites and CGs and things like that, and I'm really interested in, I'm really excited for this game. I signed up for the Kickstarter, and so I can't wait till I get a key and play Our Life 2. So you will definitely like to see it. Okay, we might play the demo on next Friday. Maybe not. Yeah, next Friday, and then we'll play a new game after that. We might pause on a new game, like on a full new game, and then play the demo next Friday. Okay, we'll do that probably. Yeah. So again, thank y'all very kindly for coming. Much obliged, and I hope to see y'all very soon. And anything else I have to say? No, that's it. Yeah. Bye. Y'all come back now. You heard me.